Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Please make sure that as soon as you come in, you go ahead and click that like button. Let me go ahead and introduce the crew. To my right, we have Mario.
Yo, what up, though, everybody? Good to see y'all. Happy holidays for sure.
All right. And then we have Quan.
What's up, everybody?
Then we got Maya. She in the hotel. Oh, she getting it in. All right, we got Maya down there. And we got Rick.
Smith steady. Maya, we can't hear you. Smith steady. Smith steady.
I muted the computer itself. I was like, something's wrong with y'all's connection, but it's definitely me. My bad.
Complete mess.
I had absolutely no idea she was talking. So Smith's daddy.
My bad. Hey everybody.
Hey everybody. All right, man. It's always good to see y'all. I swear I look forward to every Wednesday. But I know it's a holiday, so we're still a lot of people still on holiday break. So, we trying to make sure that we caught up. She getting that drink together. Okay, I see you. About to make a screwdriver. You got a little champagne in there, mix that with a little orange juice.
You see how orange? This is actual literal orange juice.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, first thing I want to do, man, is I actually want to start off and say a big shout out to Crucial Conflict. They had their their band awards on last week, and so we were participants in that, and we took place in the voting. I think it went really well. So big shout out to Crucial Conflict on having their band awards on last week. I was able to check out the show. I know Rick, you said you kind of checked out the show a little bit too. So it was a great show. I think they did a great job of holding it together. Big shout out to Robin as well, man. Robin be holding it down. She comes through here every now and then, and she be through in there in Crucial Conflict. So big shout out to Robin as well. So much love to Crucial Conflict and Robin and the whole crew for getting that together. All right. Any new things happen with anybody? Any new band info? Anything? Any updates? Anything happened this past week? Go ahead and let me know. You got it.
Not really, man. I think we all been dry sitting at home for Quibble. We all.
I was gonna say the season over. Ain't nothing happening.
I will say, big
I don't know. You may have seen something.
No, Crucial. I saw the Crucial Conflict thing, man. I thought it was great, man. Those brothers really did a good job with that, man. Especially with some of the challenges they were having to be able to put that on as well as they did. I thought it was great, man. And then the name Crucial Conflict holds a special place for me because that was the name of my ship for Omega. So, I'm going to always ride with Crucial Conflict. Greatest line ever, Springo Tupac Gamma. But yeah, shout out to those brothers, man, and what they doing. And, I think in general, man, from that to Meet Me on the 50, the interview with Dr. Taylor and just all these different platforms, man, just doing big things, man. So it's always good to see some brothers trying to do something positive for band culture, man. Even if they disagree with some of the things we say, I think that's a good thing. I would love to have some constructive dialogue with some of these brothers in the future. So, yeah, man, big up to all the platforms, man.
You say what?
Is he talking to Maya?
I was gonna say, is it me again, or I don't hear
Nobody's talking about it.
It's like Rick just had this whole soliloquy. He's like, "You said what?"
That's because
no.
I'm telling you, playing duck hunt, and he playing duck hunt where you put the gun up against the screen and cheat. Stop playing duck hunt. Pay attention.
First of all, let me get this straight. I was paying attention. I heard everything you said. What I was trying to say was it looked like you sounded like you said something towards the end, and I was just saying, you say what? And because I missed that last part.
No, I was just saying big up to all the platforms, man. Meet Me on the 50. what that brother is doing, what the brothers are doing in Crucial Conflict, which is a great name for a show. Yeah, man, like just big up to everybody, man. I don't know, all the names of the shows, but there's a lot of people out here that want to move the culture forward in their own way. And, like I said, I look forward to maybe in the future having some great dialogue and some back and forth with those brothers, especially on our differences of opinion. So, yeah.
All right. Bet. 100. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get this show kicked off and let's go ahead and get it started, man. I was very excited to move forward with this show, especially after the conversation that me and you had. I think it was yesterday, Rick. It gave me some thoughts and some lights on some topics and some things that I definitely want to have some dialogue about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and move forward. Let me do it the right way. If you're just tuning in, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. As soon as you come in, go ahead and make sure you click that like button and also go over to the YouTube page. If you're watching us on Facebook, if you're already on YouTube, that is awesome. But go over to the YouTube page and subscribe to the network and turn on notifications. All right, I'm going to start real light and then we're going to get into the heavy stuff. So I'm going to start real light and I'm going to get into the heavy stuff. So I don't know what you're jamming over there, but I want some of it. Now, as I think back to this past marching season, one of the things that I kept going back to was the fact that when the Silk Sonic music came out, everybody was hitting it. Like that was the thing that everybody was jumping on. But outside of that, we got a lot of rap daddies this year. And typically, if we're playing a song with what we call quote unquote substance, we usually go back to the early 2000s, mid 2000s, maybe 90s, 80s. So the first question on the floor, should we start looking to other genres for song selection? Should we start looking to other genres for song selection? Chief.
Absolutely. I think people already do. I mean, I can speak for our alma mater. You know what I mean? We definitely played a lot of songs that people didn't know about. Red and Yellow, Cabriolet. That definitely was a tune nobody knew about. Even playing Carry On, people wasn't playing that either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we played a lot of tunes that people weren't really playing. We almost didn't play any rap daddies. So we was actually playing more of everything else besides that. And I think you heard sometimes, even with that, I mentioned that A Woman's Work, but then before that, I think they had I don't remember what classical piece that was before it, but I don't remember, but it was a classical piece they put before it. And you've heard other songs, especially Jackson. Jackson does it a lot. They've done a number of songs.
I think they did the Moonlight Sonata.
Oh, it was the Moonlight Sonata. Yeah. I don't remember which one it was. That's why I didn't want to say. But yeah, I knew it was one of the classical tunes. And you hear it often. I think HBCUs do this more often than I think that they get credit for. Loki was one of those tunes with Tennessee State. I mean, you hear it, to me, a nice amount. And then I think I want to give shout out to A&T. They actually did a whole rock show, where they did all tunes that were from rock and roll genre. So I mean, I think I have been saying this, maybe just because this is the jazz person in me. I've been waiting for HBCU to do a jazz show, an actual jazz show. But the rap music, it's an entertainment thing, and most jazz doesn't connect with the general audience on most levels. But I think Norfolk did a good job of that in 2017 when they went at the Queen City Battle of the Bands and they played Take 5, doing the piece in 5/4. I think that was the people were able to kind of see it and get into it because the energy was great. So I feel like anything done with great energy can be and it's executed well. You know what I mean? Obviously it'll get house. So yeah, that's my little 2 cents on that.
All right. Quan, should we start looking to other genres for song selection?
Of course, I think there's no limitations that you should absolutely put on your band. I think Mario spoke well about those specific bands that stepped outside the rap daddy realm. but I think we can do more. I think we can honestly begin tapping into K-pop. I think that's something big. Personally, I think like Mario said, jazz. Honestly, I was. This was a few years back. Rick, what's that song? I think y'all played Spania a few years back while y'all was at PV. That was awesome. But I think it was what we've seen thus far is a few HBCUs kind of hit those songs, but not as a whole. I think as a HBCU culture, and I think we can improve on that. But there's so many, genres of music that we could tap into. We could tap into the Latin, Hispanic genres, like we spoke jazz. I spoke of K-pop. Honestly, there's something that we really never tapped into was like our African Nigerian music or soca music. We've never really tapped into that, honestly, either. I think that is something that, or even dance hall. I think Southern, they played like a mix of the Sean Paul, Get Ready, Lumi D at one point. But like outside of that, like we really haven't tapped into all of the things I think that we should. I think it was one school. I think it was either TSU or NCAT a while back. They played like the Fugue a few years ago. But things like that, I think we can add that more to our repertoire. And if we do as a whole, as a HBCUs, I think some of these battles, honestly, would look pretty different in the future.
All right, word. Maya.
Okay, so I think that we've done a good job, or we've shown that we're capable of doing so. I mean, if I can talk about like PV itself, like Genesis, I mean, it's a fanfare, but I mean, so like we have a couple of Secret Garden. I mean, we've gone as far as, like you said, you wanted to see somebody do like a jazz band or a jazz show. But I think that we did a Janet Jackson show when I was there. I think that was our battle. Wasn't that one of our Ballad of the Band shows? But needless to say, I think that we've done
2013.
Yeah, like I think that was my last like performance as a Fox in normal season. But yeah, I think that we've done a good job of doing so. However, I think that it's where it's placed in the show, right? So typically when we go outside of rap or R&B, typically that's it's a drill tune, right? We always go back to like old school funk, whatever. We go real black, 70s, 80s, you know what I'm saying? But we do it as a drill tune. I think that, I mean, yes, we've touched on it, but again, the rap daddies or whatever, that's what's truly hot in the street. So that's what the kids are going for. And as these generations, I mean, honestly, the generations are getting younger. So that's just what it is appealing to the masses in full. So I think that that's why we're attracted to doing so. But I wouldn't say that we just totally do not. But again, the blacks are going to go where the hype is, right? Everybody want to get house. Everybody just want to have the livest clips with the most views. But I mean, if we're going to talk about clips with views, Southern's Adele, 2 years ago or whatever, how many ever Battle of the Bands, that shit was like 12. I don't really know if it was 12 million views, but that whole had a lot of views. So you know what I'm saying? So we could do more as always, but yeah.
All right. I don't know why, Rick. Should we start looking to other genres for song selection?
I was sitting over here like, Maya, that Dallas came out. That whole conversation, Dallas came out.
I didn't want to say it. You said it.
I was like, that's what I was saying. I'm like, Maya, I am surprised.
Wait, what you mean? It came out how? Like,
oh no, you know what I'm saying? Because we got to let the whole go, and you know what I'm saying? So I was just no. And
I'm on vacation. That means
I guess that you must have been sipping because Maya, you did say that Janet Jackson was jazz, but we gonna push that to the side.
I didn't say we did a jazz show. I said we did a show that was all Janet Jackson.
Erase. Well, that didn't happen, y'all. We good. But yeah.
That is not what I said.
Let me ask this question. Maya, what you sipping on? I got something I'm sipping on. What you sipping on, girl?
Sipping on these wings. What you mean?
Pull up your socks and go get a chicken box.
See,
All right, Rick, you got it, bro.
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Some chicken, baby.
Right. I think a lot of schools, man, have been trying to experiment. I think we only see. Let me say this in a very straightforward way, but that's clear and concise. A lot of schools have chosen to play songs, but I think Maya hit it on the head, right? Like at the end of the day, the videos that get the views are the ones that get the blood flowing. You know, when people come into a fifth quarter, especially, I rarely hear people talking about these pieces that we're speaking of right now. Like I think back, the one that I think really had people talking the most. First of all, stop playing the rap daddies in the fifth. One and done. Let it be the last thing. Like leave them rap daddies at home when it comes to the fifth. You already hit them in the zero. No rap daddies in the fifth. That's first and foremost. But the one that I think really took off that people were talking about, and this was really 2013, and that was when Southern played Beyond. When Southern played Beyond, I was like, man, that is impressive. And not only was it out of the box as far as what they played, but they played the hell out of that. Like that band was incredible. Southern 13 is a great band. I was sitting on the other side of the field, like I remember looking at you like that shit's sweet, though. I couldn't hear like
Rick, was that the same year?
Like, damn, that shit nice.
Rick, was that the same year they played Welcome to the Jungle?
I don't know, bro.
That was that 14?
Was it 14?
14.
I don't know, but whatever that year they played Welcome to the Jungle, that's another one.
But what I'm saying is, but I guess I'm doing all that Quan to say that that's the band we see the most. So that's the band that always gets credit for doing that. And they do a very good job of that. They have a very eclectic song selection. You know what I'm saying? Like they played Lucky Day, who's one of my favorite artists right now. And Brian is doing that at Texas Southern. I saw a video of them doing it. But like they are the band we see the most. But there's a lot of bands that do that. And, you know, like me, I used to get joked on by Julian and Brandon at PV because I would write one or two songs a year. Because I didn't have time, man. I was teaching and all that other stuff. I didn't have the time. So I always, Quan, when I choose music
for 2 songs.
Right. But I would choose music that was band friendly. I knew it would be a great band song. But it would be something where I like chords. Like that's my thing. You listen to any of my arrangements, there's always going to be some type of jazz, you know, harmonic language in it. So I always did it. So like I wrote Anita Baker's Caught Up in the Rapture. I did Lose Control by Silk. I did Killer Joe by Quincy Jones. Like I was all over the place. I did Don't Want to Fall in Love by Jane Child. Like all these different charts that were, you know, songs I just like listening to. So I think HBCUs have always done a great job of that. One of my favorites over the last couple of years is when Jackson played Circle of Life. To me, that's one of and they sound amazing playing it. I remember, Julie, you remember when me and you first heard that clip? We were like, dog, that sounds like a PWI with an HBCU tuba section. Like, it was incredible.
We were definitely excited to hear it.
Well, we were like, dog, if that's the direction Jackson is going, I cannot wait to hear what this season sound like. And then the next song was one of them rap daddies. I was like, oh, never mind, right back to normal. But so yeah, man, I think that a lot of bands already do a good job of playing eclectic music. It's just it's not the ones that people rave about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a lot of good stuff out there, man. So I think we can do more. We can maybe replace one or two of them rap daddies in the fifth with, you know, something nice like and Mario, it was Fair Lease, not Moonlight. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, my bad, bro. But yeah, so yeah, I would love to hear that, man. The last part of it, y'all, I'll say is that a lot of the times when you play these pieces, it takes a certain level of preparation. If I'm gonna play Beethoven has to be played a certain way. You know what I'm saying? You can't put screaming baritone parts in Fair Lease and cross voicing in the, you know, and the mellophones and all that stuff, man. So, you know, I think there's something that goes with that. But yeah, man, I think Southern has been very, very good at that. I think PV has done a good job of that. Now, the last thing, Julian, is this, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong. Certain bands, depending on who it is, gets more leeway to do it than others. Because when PV plays those off the beaten path songs, they get drugged through the mud. Y'all, that arrangement was poo. Y'all poo. This song selection ain't nothing. Y'all garbage. But then some of the other bands come out and do it, and they get a lot more leeway. So in order for us to be able to play,
100%.
right? In order to be able to play more eclectic songs, we have to give bands the leeway to do it their way. You know what I'm saying? So I'll stop there. But yeah, I think bands have always played, eclectic music.
You going, Mario?
Yeah, I just had a
So
quick.
with going,
Go ahead,
Mario.
Julian. Finish. Go ahead, dude. It's fine.
No, because I was gonna ask a completely different question, but if you had a thought, I want you to get your
Yeah,
thought.
it was just I know for me, I can't speak to whatever tunes Rick was talking about as far as PV, but I just feel like it all comes down to execution. If a song is done really well, and I feel like people, like, for example, people was hating on PV during the year, and then they saw him at Jackson, and they were giving him love because I feel like PV was executing better. They admittedly were executing better. So I feel like when it comes to this is, I don't know if it's everybody's band like this, but I know for me, I will say that mistakes are given a little bit more leeway to certain bands. Mistakes are given more leeway. And that's because if you're used to a band being really good all the time, it's like Tom Brady throwing an interception. You know what I'm saying? He didn't always throw an interception, but when he does, it's like, okay, shit, he not perfect. You know what I mean? Like, and so you kind of like give it a like whatever. You know what I mean? Certain people, if they're doing things at the level that everybody else puts at their, if you like what we were talking about Southern, if you put Southern at your, if that's the epitome for you, if you identify them as your, that doesn't get any higher than them, then and you consider whatever they do to be amazing, then obviously they're going to get leeway to make mistakes in certain areas. That's the reason why things that you were talking about, Rick, is like people don't like criticize them. And I think the reason people don't criticize them that much is because the people who are fans of them feel like they don't really do wrong comparatively to other bands who they say, yeah, you may be trying something new, but y'all was doing this wrong and this wrong and this wrong. So it's easy for people to try to find all the wrongs of other programs comparatively to how people look at Jackson and Southern, specifically those two schools, Jackson and Southern.
And even you can put Norfolk in that category. You can put FAM in that category. Bethune-Cookman, all the bands that we expect to be upper echelon bands. Anytime anything's not right, we like, all right. Like you said, the Tom Brady analysis is actually perfect. I would go more with Aaron Rodgers because he throws less interceptions. But
yeah, early Tom Brady, not the old Tom Brady, not 45. Tom Brady.
Go ahead,
So what I think for me, and this may cause a controversy, but I feel like you're able to honestly go outside of the box in regards to your song selection more in the MEAC than the SWAC. That's just my opinion.
I disagree, Quan. I think
say it again, Quan. Say what you said again one more time.
I think it's the opposite.
Well, put like this. The reason why I feel like it's different because I have been in this way. You do expect, honestly, to either play the old school tunes or the current rap daddy tunes in the SWAC. Real talk, because that's the expectation. Because again, like you said, Mario, the expectation is honestly, are you better than Southern? Honestly, the bottom line when it comes to the SWAC. However, when you talk about the MEAC, and I'm talking about pre-MEAC from 2 years ago, pre-COVID, honestly, you had a toss-up depending on that school in the MEAC. Right. So we know, Norfolk was going to sound good, right? We knew that A&T was going to be in that running, and due to the historical prestige of FAMU, they're always going to be in the running for the MEAC top 3. So out of those, they can play outside of the box. But when it came to the SWAC, it's like, for a fact, Southern's going to have a fire drill. They're going to have their specific songs, but they're going to blow you out in the stands. Or, like that's the mindset.
But that Quan, is the reason why I disagree slightly, bro, because in the MEAC, we played the same songs in the fifth every week. There was no creativity in the MEAC when it came to, okay, I'm going to try to best them by having this song ready. Like Mario has, and I and Julia have said on this show many times, we did not have stand rehearsal. That was new to me when we got to PV. Norfolk, we gave an hour at most, and that was usually only when we had a gym battle. We didn't do that when we ain't had no gym battle. Get y'all ass, hit that E flat chord, get y'all ass outside so we can hit this drill daddy.
I wonder what Bethune does. I mean, I can't speak for their program because I'm not from there, but I wonder if they have stand rehearsals when they, you know, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny or like condescending or nothing like that, but like honestly, is that something that they work on as far as their stand preparation outside of the movie?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure when they go in there, the first thing they do, they probably hit their warm up, and then they hit choir rehearsal. Mr. Ice Cream Man, Mr. Ice Cream Man, and then oh no, y'all got to get the right vibrato, like you know. So
too much. It's got to be 16 note vibrato, 16 note vibrato.
But I assume that they also have it because they got to all practice them same moves over and over again too.
No,
because you know every song they got.
I'm like not even being funny. I'm saying because of the lack of diversity in the book. The only band to me that I heard consistently with different songs, really through my years, I can't even really say. Not in the MEAC. I mean, I don't know, man. Because I feel like kind of Norfolk and A&T, whatever they play, they kind of play throughout the year. The rest of the year is kind of their 10 to 15 tunes. Yep. They just kind of rotate them in a little different ways. You may insert a song here or there, but it's not a new book. Like for example, when you saw the Boombox, you heard songs they hadn't played all year. They literally arranged tunes specifically for that battle. Yeah. Like there's songs that they're specifically trying to one up each other and say, oh, we did this and y'all did, you know, like I feel like the SWAC does that much better, where you're trying to one up each other with tunes, whether it's rap songs or any other songs. You're trying to best each other with songs that the other band may haven't heard yet. It's you know, or we call them non-responders, tunes that you can't really play nothing back to, stuff like that. It's like, oh, we did this tune and y'all don't have, what can you play to it? I don't know. I feel like we didn't do that as much in the MEAC. I mean, during my time, I can't, you know, obviously.
Yeah, I can't speak for now. Yeah.
Like during my time, I don't feel like that was the case.
But like, even like, Quan, tell me if I'm wrong, bro. And Maya, you too, you know, I know you didn't play an instrument in the band, but you know, both of y'all come from the SWAC. For me, in the SWAC, it was all about what was going to crank. It wasn't about what was out of the box necessarily. Yeah, I want to pick that. And the reason I say that is because you had a lot of bands, like Power by Kevin Gates. That song, I don't hear nobody bumping Power by Kevin Gates. But Southern, Dr. Taylor was able to put that song together in a way where he got the whole band, where I think that's the song that won band song of the year on Crucial Conflicts award show. And that's a rap song I had never heard before. So I think y'all have a lot more leeway, even if the song is not popular, to be able to perform that piece in band.
Yeah, I mean, no, I agree with that. And then also what Walter said as well, like songs that you think will go unanswered. But I think a good kind of left and right spectrum of this is like Miss Shawn brought up a really good point. She said Sail. When PV did Sail, and what year was that? 14 or 15? That whole crank, as well as it was out of the box. Like I think that was the first band that I had heard play. You know, like Sail was the first time, not necessarily in the I was gonna say HBCU specific, but that's what we're talking about. That was the first HBCU band that I heard play that, and not many others followed after it. And I really say we did Radioactive too.
Believe it.
Didn't we have Radioactive? Yeah. So like,
I mean, but you like Mike, that's what I was saying earlier, right? Like Julian and I always thought out of the box. Like, right. And like when y'all were outside dancing and stuff, the amount of songs that we wrote that never left the band room. Like Julian and I don't want to get too many because I'm sure Julian will use some of these tracks once he's somebody's college band director. But like I called Julian. I was like, dog, you ever seen that movie Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo? He's like, yeah, dog, with Turbo and Ozone. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, dog, you ever seen that scene where Turbo was walking up the walls and stuff, the I Don't Want to Come Down? She was like, man, let me go check it out. And he wrote it. And it was fire. And it never left the band room.
But see, that's the thing. Like, why do they not leave the band room? Because that reminds me of I texted.
Ma, you already know the answer to that question. Mario already done said it.
I don't even. Yeah.
Well, okay, that's
Yeah.
fair. But
We-
like, Luke, I texted you and Hop and
maybe
was
that'll
like,
be a
"Hey,
good
whatever Miley Cyrus song that was, it's an old ass song, but it was my first time hearing it, and I was like, this would jam as a drill tune. We just need somebody to write it." But you know,
I think.
But see,
I think
you right.
first
But
of
what you
all,
said previously.
let me get this straight. Let me go ahead and respond to that live. You text me that I'm not even affiliated with said program anymore. So even if I wrote it, there's not a guarantee that the program or any program will play it.
It ain't gotta be PV specific. I'm just saying, write the whole, and it's my gift to whomever decides to take it. I was just saying that my 2 cents. She got an ear as well, for the little different stuff.
Hey,
You got
so
to hear, we
my
all agree.
thing, my thing for us, like Walter said, when I marched for PB under Prof Ed we had a bunch of Hobart classics. I think, but one thing that Prof Ed was like, hey, bro, this is what we gonna play. He wasn't that type of band director. Like I think TSU, we had the first gym battle, I think in 07. They played, I think, Down Bottom and blew that hoe, and then he turned around and played D'Angelo Brown Sugar. I was like, Prof, what is we doing, bro? What is we doing? However, if you go back, Brown Sugar was good.
He said he hit it with a little Flight of the Bumblebee, dog. He said
like that, but that was him. Like real talk, like Walter laughing, but like nigga, we was up in there talking about. I'm talking about that.
The Sweat Box classics.
He talking about
straight usage.
we talking about we was like, come on, my nigga, what we doing?
Brown Sugar, babe.
Yeah. But I mean, that song was outside the box. Now, me personally, I never heard nobody else play Brown Sugar. Now that was a bad timing, but shit, But that's that. But it's a whole. I think it's a whole bunch of stories. But I have to be honest here. When it comes to the swag, I hate to say it like this, but you prepare for something because everybody knows they're going to have about 50 songs. Like real talk. Like everybody knew that. Go ahead, big dog.
But Quan, in this day and age, I'll be short, Julie. Yeah, I'll be short. Yeah. In this day and age, and you can make this last if you want, having 50 songs at a game doesn't matter anymore. You will never play 50 songs at a SWAC game ever again. I know that's hard for SWAC fans to hear, but they were doing that in my tenure. At most, you'll get through 20 songs a game. And that's including all them daddies you play during the game when your football team score. You got to crank it. Everybody got those like neck and stuff like that. But you will never play 50 to 100 songs at a game. So you can have all that. I think what you're saying, Quan, is more so from a preparation standpoint. So if somebody throw a rock daddy at you, you can go in the Rolodex and say, "Oh, we got that. I don't want to miss a thing that Julian wrote that we did at the Dallas Cowboys game," or whatever that may be. So yeah, I see what you're saying, but at the end of the day, ain't nobody ever gonna play that many songs at a SWAC game anymore. Now SWAC fans gonna have to get used to that, bro.
Yeah, that was pre-09.
Yeah.
Unless it's the boombox, they played a bunch of tunes, dog.
But they played them joints in the fifth. They didn't play them during the game.
Oh, are you saying? I'm just thinking when I say I think game, I'm thinking the whole experience.
And they ain't playing 50 songs in the fifth. The Golden Corral closed at 9. So they ain't playing 50 songs.
Unless you want the greasy food at the end, you better
right. Hey, I hit that joint quick. All you PV people, I'm the one that came up with this. Because hey, we got 5 songs, and then we go into that chicken. Let's go. Whoa, let's go.
All right, so but that's one of the things that I kind of wanted to kind of tap into as well, because Mario, you hit it on the head. You're talking about the full experience. The full experience to me also includes the field show. And I think that what ends up happening a lot of times, if I go back to the old 90s and I go back to the 80s, field shows were filled with music of the time. They weren't going back for the most part 10 years prior and pulling out music for the field show. Whereas now, when we start looking at our field show music, most of our field show music is from the 80s and 90s. We can't pull out one of them rap daddies and march up and down the field and do a 2-step to them, or whatever your drill, or whether it's linear or whether it's the floating drill, or regardless You can't do that. So my question is, do we still need to start looking for other genres of song selections? Because right now we're only talking about the stands. So
no, we're not. No, we're not. Like Maya made a point of that at the beginning. She was like, we always like where she characterized those songs was in the drill. Maya said that, but I don't think we're just talking about the stands. I think it becomes the stands because it seems that that's all bands care about today is the stands. And the reason being is what I've said on our show so many times. There's no creativity happening on the field at all. You already know the format you're going to see. You're going to get the drill song. You may get a ballad, or you may get, something for your twirlers if you have them. You're going to hit the dancer's tune, and then you're going to go to dance formation, hit the dance routine, and come off the field to something hopefully strong. That's the format. We already know what to expect. If a band like took the A&T route and actually trying to do something different, like I'm going to keep doing it until I can't do it no more. What Gary is trying to do with them drill-wise and what Dr. Ruff is trying to do with the band with changing the format, if more bands took that strategy, I think you would have to, like you said, Julian, go into the bag of different other charts because you'd be trying to do something different. If I was a black college band director, I would say, okay, the Matrix is popular right now. So how can I incorporate the Matrix into a field show? Or any other movie, Spider-Man. I can do plenty of Spider-Man show, and I know I've done that.
But here's the funny thing, and I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go, Chief, in a minute. Here's the funny thing, Rick, and this is the one thing. This is why I love, and I got to put this out. This is why I love working with Rick at PV, because me and him are gonna think like that. We're gonna be like, all right, what's hot now that's not necessarily in the mainstream that everybody's looking at? What is the thing that we're looking at that we're like, man, this is dope, And then we'll kind of go off of that and gauge a field or gauge an arrangement off of that specifically. And that is what I'm talking about. Thinking outside of the box. I think that's 100%. That's dope. Like even right now, if there's a band director watching those two concepts right there, you could take that, the Matrix or the new Spider-Man Daddy, and come up with something for that. I was randomly walking through the store yesterday and I was thinking about different concepts for trying to find a way to mix all the Marvel movies together to create a drill show. And I'm not even, somebody's university or high school head band director anymore. So if I can do it and I'm just at the middle school now, you definitely can do it. So that's just my thoughts. But anyway, Chief, go ahead. A matter of fact, Chief, final thought.
Yeah, I actually just was thinking, I had an idea when it came to, Norfolk did so many of the gym battles and stuff, and kind of became synonymous with gym battles towards, early 2010 era or late 2000s, early 2010s. And one of the things that I was thinking about with them, I'll leave this alone. But one of my suggestions was that, you had, how you have like selections, like selection types. People kind of do it in the fifth a little bit, but maybe if you had like categories to stuff, you know what I mean? Like there was categories to battle to, you know what I mean? Like I think that would be kind of cool. Like I'm not saying every game got to be like that. So people be like, oh, see that people trying to force us to do it this way. I'm not, do what you want to do. I don't care. But I'm just saying, from my mind was thinking like it would be cool if you said, all right, we had a rap section, we had a old school song section, we had a whatever, like whatever soon you want to do that you felt like was out the box the most or whatever. Do you had whatever type of categories you did? If you went through it like that, I think it would create more of an idea of comparison. The comparison levels would be easier to identify to me when it comes to certain things. If you say, oh, you got to do a movie show thing, or you have to do a TV show thing, or you got to whatever, like people would prepare differently. And I think they would force their mind to think about songs and how they would want to approach those ideas a lot differently, because you would feel like that abstract tune that you thought about this one time would actually get a chance to see the light of day. Because trust and believe, the things that you were talking about with Julian at PV is no different than what I've heard from a number of people at other HBCUs, that songs that don't see the light of day often. That is not something that's exclusive to that school situation. And I know it for a fact. So a lot of people don't really want to push the envelope because they're afraid that what they're going to do is either not going to get housed, or they're worried about the reception it's going to receive. So I don't know, but I do think the categories would be kind of dope. I'll leave it there.
All right, bet. All right, cool. All right, we started out pretty good. I thought that was gonna be a light one, but a little deeper. So cool. Let's keep it going. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Please make sure that as soon as you come in, you go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and smash that like button. I see everybody in the comments. Appreciate everybody in the comments. Go ahead and smash that like button while you're in the comments. If you are watching us on Facebook, you can smash the like button on Facebook. But if you're on Facebook, go over to the YouTube page. Go ahead and subscribe to the network. If you're already on the YouTube page, subscribe to the network and turn on notifications. Also, man, I forgot to give you guys a big announcement. We are now on Spotify. We are on so you or excuse me, I got some calls from some people who said that they wanted to listen to us either while they were driving in their car and they were in bad areas, but they could get Spotify. And so now we are on Spotify. Just go to Spotify, look us up at Real Talk That Talk. Once again, go to Spotify, look us up at Real Talk That Talk.
Come on, stop sabotaging Julian's internet.
Yeah, maybe he may have hit me with the Smiths, daddy.
Got your back, bitch.
You did. You absolutely did. Smiths. All right. Here we go. Let's go to the next topic before my internet cut out. I want to see which way I want to go. All right, let's go this way. Very easy. Spring semester. We coming up on it. Parade season, a concert band. Spring semester, parade season, or concert band. Now, I know the first thing you're going to be like, well, what are you asking? Take it how you want to. There we go. Parade season or concert band. Quan.
I knew it, damn it. Both of them. And the reason why is I think parade season, for example, you have the MLK parade that's coming up as an alpha. I support, Dr. King and what his life standard for. So that's a must.
Throw it up.
You feel me?
Also, we all black. We all like Dr. King. Now, we the blacks. We the blacks.
we the blacks.
Yeah,
we the blacks.
Yeah, but, we ain't all out. Thank you.
Yeah.
The Q's love Dr. King too. Let's go.
Yeah. Hey, once this over, Rick, stay on. I gotta tell you something about that. But anyway, MLK parade, and honestly, for some people, depending on your area, you fundraise honestly with some of these parades because they write checks. So if you want to build, your till up with some money, it's definitely there. However, as a director, my favorite season is concert season. I think concert season is where you do the most teaching, in a setting where there's less pressure. I think you can hit your objectives and goals, teaching music through performance. But honestly, both of them is needed and necessary because when it comes to the kids, you're also recruiting, quote unquote, those middle schools that are out there watching you and they looking forward to those things. So it's the best of both worlds, but you can't be so focused on one where the other one suffers too. That's just my 2 cents on it all.
All right. Maya, spring semester, parade season or concert season?
I mean, both of them, all three of them. Put wind ensemble on all this, but let them do all of it because I think that the prominence of each, I don't want to call it program, but the prominence of each is different, right? So concert band, I think that that's the development, the fundamentals, the character of a musician, the character of being able to be a versatile musician and being able to display that. Parade season, it's exposure for a lot of people, right? We want to talk about how pushing the culture forward, or how do we extend ourselves, putting ourselves in different predicaments, right? If we travel, if we're only used to doing slack shit, but we go to the East Coast or the West Coast or whatever the case may be, that's exposure. That's how we promote our brand. That's how we promote HBCUs in general. And I mean, the only way to be able to extend yourself or extend your value is to place yourself in different circumstances and environments. So I think that they're both necessary. They both are relevant for a reason. So I think that everybody needs to do everything.
Bet. Rick, parade season or concert season?
So this question is kind of triggering. All right, I'm gonna try to be as politically correct while still getting my point across. Why are there seasons for music?
Ain't no politically correct.
Ooh, I have some questions. We do wind ensemble year round.
Thank you. That's what I was about to say, bro. You just thank you. Thank
But
you.
that shows you where people's focus are, man. I know I guess this education made me bougie. I don't know. But that's what somebody told me. That's what somebody told me, Quan. I became bougie because I have advanced degree, whatever.
That's stupid.
Wind ensemble is not a seasonal thing. And the thing that bothers me the most about it is that question is more relevant for music majors. You did not come to college to do marching band. Marching band may be helping pay for you to go to school, but at the end of the day, you're there to study music education. So you need to be able to do the marching band at a high level. At Norfolk State, we were required to do 2 years. I did 3. For whatever reason, I thought I was going to be section leader my 3rd year. Didn't happen. I marched the season, kept my head down, and that was done. But at the end of the day, wind ensemble and music education doesn't stop just because your band director got you outside from 3:20 until 1 o'clock in the morning. You need to go up and tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, excuse me, sir, very respectfully, we're spending 6-7 hours on marching band, but we don't have time in the fall to do wind ensemble. That seems like y'all are ass backwards to me. Just saying. I think parade season depends on what part of the country you're in is important. If you have to participate in Mardi Gras and all those things, then obviously, yes, like Maya and Quan have said, it's both. But I think that we need to start holding our music programs a little more accountable with the preparation of our students for the world of music education. When you go do a job interview, some schools are going to like the fact that you went to whatever university you went to. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to be able to pull out a piece that is in the repertoire for your particular city and be able to teach it at a high level. And when I'm talking about high level is getting past the notes, getting past the intonation. Now we're talking about phrasing. Now we're talking about actual interpretation of the piece, doing the historical analysis. There's a lot of things that goes into being a great wind ensemble. So I think that at the end of the day, this question kind of triggers me because it makes us compartmentalize some of the most important parts of a music education. So, yeah.
But like somebody put into one of the comments of one of our past shows, everybody ain't a music education major. So I mean, there we go. That's what I remember seeing. I just kind of paraphrase it.
Yeah, but you're so basically what this question implies is that there's only a segmented amount of time for concert band. At the university as I went to, well, I'll take that back. No, the university I teach at now, and am the wind ensemble director. Our wind ensemble rehearsal is during the day, so it doesn't even coincide with marching band. So I leave straight from wind ensemble and go to marching band rehearsal. Well, no, I don't because it's on different days. I'm thinking about something else. I'm thinking about Norfolk State. And Norfolk State, wind ensemble was at the same time that marching band was. Like it just occupied that same space in the fall. And that was the reason why we kept playing songs like Robert W. Smith's Ascension and all this underlevel music that was being put in front of some of the best musicians I know. I remember sitting there like in the wind ensemble we had Mario on clarinet. What's her name? Sonia on clarinet. We had John Trey on oboe. We had all of us in there like killing musicians, and we in there playing Robert W. Smith's Ascension. Like I keep saying, the hardest piece we played when I was in the wind ensemble there was Power Doble. That was the hardest song we played. Everything else, I sight read the first time and was like, oh my God, this is going to be a boring semester. You know how bad it had gotten, Quan? And I'll give it to you, bro. It got so bad that one of the pieces we looked forward to playing the most was in that Bach Chorales book. What was it? Number 40 something. Like that was one of the pieces we look forward to playing because it was like harmonically right. Right. I'm back there like riffing on it. Right. But that was like one of the pieces we look forward to playing the most because it was legit literature. It was Bach. You know what I'm saying? Like based on the C minor scale, and it was great. So yeah, man, it's an interesting question here, Jules.
Mario, did you go already?
No.
No, I didn't.
Go ahead, bro. I'll go.
Yeah, just kind of echoing what you guys have said already. But I guess the only thing that I would say, I'm running a program right now, and I by no means at all do I have like an elite programs. I have most of my kids who come to my program are beginner students, 9th grade beginners. I've never played an instrument at all in my entire life, and I'm starting at 14 or 15 years old. And I'm starting them, and I'm trying to develop those students. I have been, moderately successful with it over the time that I've been in my school. But one of the things that I have enforced when I first started teaching at Science Park, I did 5 years of general music and concert band and jazz band and of those. Well, not really jazz band, really just concert band. Before I started really the big band, I just had like a combo and small groups and stuff like that. And then as we started to build up, the kids, I'm going to tell you, when you train your students properly, they will get pissed. My kids would literally get pissed if I didn't have concert band and jazz band both times of the year. Like that's the expectation. What do you mean we're not playing jazz tunes? What are we playing for jazz band, Mr. Banks? What are we going to do for concert band? I need the charts. I want to practice. And so if I'm one person, I'm running like in my program right now, and I'm not saying this to, I don't need the tiny violin and shit, but I'm just going to be honest. Concert band, jazz band, marching band, beginning band, modern band, which is like my rock band, my middle school group, all of that ish is being run by myself. Now, I know a lot of band directors across the country have similar situations. But the band directors that I know that have similar situations, they have kids that already have musical experience coming into their programs. They may have a bunch of ensembles, but not without music experience. I think it's ridiculous that we even the concept that there is not enough space and time to do this. You have some of these high school programs in the South that have full staff. I mean, like a bunch of people, and you have like 100, 200 people in the marching band. There is more than enough people and resources and time to spread around and make sure all the ensembles get time and attention. But it's not really about that. It's just because people just are going to do what they're interested in. And I think it comes down to just interest. I think Maya was speaking of that earlier. Like when people do shows, they're going to do what's popular. Marching band is popular because it garners the most attention and acknowledgement. If you do a great concert band piece, the average person in the audience doesn't know what you're playing, and they may not even come to your concert. Being honest, they may not even come to your concert. So you can have all this preparation, and people be like, "Oh, we're doing this to prepare." I don't do concert band to prepare for marching band. I do concert band because I love concert band. I do jazz band because I love jazz band. I do marching band because I love marching band, and all those things intertwined together makes a whole musician. Period. There's no idea that we have to continue to act like one has to be in sacrifice or another or in preparation for some other stuff. I don't know. It's all a development. I speak differently in my different ensemble groups. Yeah, like when I talk to kids about jazz, obviously they're not playing eighth notes the same. You know what I mean? Like where or when we play it in marching band, the way we're phrasing may be a little different depending on who holds the melody, maybe slightly different. Because, melodies on brass instruments compared to like higher woodwind instruments create different types of tonality issues that you may have to deal with in an indoor arena. But the reality of all of this, though, is that that's just who I am as an educator. And I think that's a problem if we're telling people or this idea that you have to have one season that's important and the other one is kind of like fall is marching band and the spring is like marching band junior and shit. Like it's like I don't know. I just don't agree with it. But teach his own. I'm not hating. Do what you do, man. Obviously it's work for whoever programs. But if we're asking ourselves to be honest about the question we asked before, Why aren't we evolving? Because directors aren't evolving. Because the direction of the programs aren't evolving. Because we do the same shit every time over and over and over again and expect different results. We all know what that is. So it is what it is.
It's good to hear somebody else say it, so I don't have to get cussed out this week.
No, I think everybody is like hit the nail on the head. But I think Mario and Rick, you added a different viewpoint, and I just have to be sincere. When I was in the marching band, there was no such thing as wind ensemble in the fall, and I think when you speak about other people's experience, unfortunately, you see what you've been cheated out of as a music major. And regardless if you're a non-music major, the only way that you can develop your department better is if you have those overall experiences, period. And I think, honestly, some HBCUs have improved over time since I graduated. I graduated 2011. I was a freshman in 2006. So at that time, man, we wasn't doing that. And we going to be 1,000. Prairie View was not known for our wind ensemble or concert band at that time. It wasn't. But you see other, but you see other schools now that are developing well-rounded musicians. And I see a lot of people say, well, everybody not a music major. Yeah, but you're getting that money though. And honestly, that's a whole different, topic of conversation. But when you breaking off the type of bread that some of these programs are breaking off, bro, you gonna play all year, bro. Like this is your job. You gonna play everything,
right?
But see, but Quan, oh, go ahead, Julie. Sorry. Oh,
I ain't doing nothing.
Oh, my bad. Quan, that statement brings up something that we haven't talked about here. Well, Mario touched on it briefly, but we need to bring it up in this conversation, and that's this. You have to have a competent staff. You can't just have a talented band director. Your head band director, right, can't just be the only talent on your staff. What happens in a lot of instances, Quan, is you have band staffs that are built with band heads. They don't know who no Percy Granger is, so how they gonna get in the concert band room and teach that to the students? Now there are some band staffs that are excellent. This is a comprehensive discussion, right? It's not just focusing on why we should do concert band. A well-rounded music program has chamber ensembles. I'm in clarinet ensemble. I'm in woodwind ensemble. I'm in brass quintet. When I was at Norfolk State, Quan, this was a normal semester for me. I was first chair in the wind ensemble. I was first chair in the jazz band. All right, and then Julian got there, and we would switch off. Me, him, and Anton would switch off the first book in jazz band. I was the first chair trumpet in the university brass quintet. Mr. Adams made me play in brass ensemble. I was in all these other ensembles, and I had to go get my ass whipped by Dr. Zachary in them private lessons. So for me, I had no choice but to say, okay, I know I'm Omega. I want to do that. I know I'm a music major. I want to do that. And I'm in the Spartan Legion. I need to buckle down and be a legitimate college student. I need to plan my day out. Instead of waking up at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, I need to get my ass up at 8 or 9 or 7
Right.
in the morning. And actually, hey, right, wake y'all young asses up. All right, like get up. The morning is not, you're not allergic to it.
So like MC8, wake your ass up for the 93 shot.
Right. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like we all know, like we sitting up here being bougie right now. We all know how college was. We woke up. If we ain't had no class that day,
yo, right, wake up.
Shit, we ain't had no class. What the hell was that? Was that Shane's song?
That's the most random sound effects, bro.
Finish him. But yeah, bro. Like,
combat head.
Right. We all know, dog. So I think that at the end of the day, it's not just the professors. We need better people in front of our students. But the student body, and Mario touched on this last show too. And he touched on it with the PV comment from the last question. Students, you got to be better. You can't show up to band practice and not know your music and then wonder why people talk crap about you on the internet. Mario, you hit it right on the head with that. You are absolutely right. You go out there, you got wrong note central, out of tune central, and everybody hating on you. Yeah, I would hate too if that shit sound like that. But if you come in prepared to your lesson, to wind ensemble, whatever you're doing, then you will have a better experience. I tell my wind ensemble students that all the time. This is not where you practice. All right, this is rehearse. We are coming here to rehearse. All right, and I give Mario what I do is in advance of rehearsal. My students already know what they're working on. So when they show up to rehearsal the next day, I know, okay, I need to expand past rehearsal letter E or whatever. And
First of all, have an agenda for your rehearsal.
Yeah, actually planning. Actually
planning.
being a good band. Right. So
right.
It's twofold. We have to be better as educators, and the students, especially at HBCUs, have to understand that the rigor of your degree, it's supposed to be hard. If everybody could get a college degree, they would. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate that for what it is and work your ass off, man.
All right. Dang, I keep thinking that we going light, but we end up going a little heavier than what I think. All right, we did good. We doing good. All right, let's keep it going though. Welcome everybody to talk.
Other than that Mortal Kombat audio,
finish him.
Hey man, look, don't be hating on my drops, man.
You got that Kung Lao on there, that Shang Tsung. Here we go.
No, that's not Shang Tsung.
Finish him.
That's who's Shao Kahn. There we go. All right, there we go. If you're just joining us, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. As soon as you come in, go ahead and click that like button. Let's get these likes up, man. Remember, we want the likes to match the number of viewers that we have. Also, we got a lot of people in the comments. So if you're in the comments, go ahead and click that like button as well. Also, please make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to the network and turn on notifications. If you're on Facebook, come over to the YouTube page, subscribe to the network. And also, I put the link for the Spotify in the chat. So I just want to make sure that let you guys know that we are on Spotify. I'm putting every single episode that we've ever had up. So if you've ever missed some episodes, you can go back and check those earlier episodes out. You can also listen to how we were struggling in the beginning. We were still trying to get some of the audio and stuff together too. So you can listen to some of those mishaps. All right, let's keep it going though. Next one. This actually is kind of directly related to what we were just talking about. Are HBCUs playing on level? Are HBCUs playing on level? I think I already hit Quan first. Chief.
There are musicians that have more than enough ability to play at level. That's what I would say, that the ability is there, but the repertoire is not. So that's the best way for me to explain that, because it's like, as we were talking about before, a lot of people don't know current literature or classic literature, or really not pushing the envelope when it comes to even the marching band sphere, like in that kind of arena. Sometimes the hardest things that you hear from programs, like I've heard programs play things, and I won't call anybody out, but I've heard a couple HBC concert band performances online, and they're playing, maybe they're playing Shostakovich, they're playing like Festival Overture or something like that, or they're playing a tune, but they're playing it very poorly. It's really out of tune. It's not really at the level it should be. I think I've heard maybe like Howard's wind ensemble and Bethune's wind ensemble, and I was like, okay, and FAM, obviously, yeah, FAM. And I was like, okay, that's how wind ensemble should be sounding. But even those programs, I wonder if they're playing current literature, if they're really pushing the envelope when it comes to that arena, or they're just playing things that were passed down. I think we do that oftentimes in concert band, and where we don't try to play anything new. There are a lot of new things being written that are wonderful pieces. If you get a chance, there's this piece I was listening to recently. North Texas Wind Ensemble was performing. It's called Mosque. It is an amazing tune, man.
And that is an old chart, bro.
Right. And it was my first time being introduced to it. And that's so like, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking like, I've never even heard of this song. I had never heard of the tune in my life. And so I'm just trying to educate myself on what is old to me what's new to me is old to others. You know what I mean? And I think in that arena, I don't think we push it. I don't think we push it enough. And obviously this isn't every HBCU, because you have some programs that do great with this. You know what I mean? So, hit dogs holler. So if I'm not talking to you, I ain't talking to you. But you know what I mean? For the programs that are not really pushing their students to do to really push the envelope and make them better musicians. You learn a lot through your mishaps. You learn a lot through your mistakes if you teach properly. So there's a lot of things that can be learned in those spaces, or playing those pieces that are challenging, that really push the envelope. Dealing with phrasing, balance, understanding counter melody, being able to partner your to understand your strengths and weaknesses as an ensemble too. I think that's another big thing that people don't really do. Like, you hear it in marching band where, like, we got a baritone section this year, so we're gonna write all that stuff for baritone, but then you'll get in concert band and whatever damn song you pick is just like whatever I like, not necessarily based on the ensemble. Like, okay, I have a really outstanding clarinet section, so we're gonna play these tunes. You know what I mean? I'm gonna really try to highlight my attributes in these areas. And I don't think that the thought process is necessarily like that in all cases. Obviously, there are some exceptions, but the final answer: are HBCUs playing on level? No, they're not. No, they're not playing on level, and it's unfortunate because the musicians are there.
Right? Are HBCUs playing on level?
I don't think I can say it any more clear and concise than what Mario said. Here's a part of it that we can talk about. So Mario brought up Mosque. Mosque is by W. Francis Macbeth, one of the best one ensemble composers of the last generation.
Absolutely.
Right. So for those of you young band directors, I'm not trying to appeal to people that want to just argue everything we say on the show. I'm appealing to those of you that want to help move your programs forward. There are a couple of composers. Alfred Reed is one. Macbeth is one. Percy Granger is one. From that old canonic wind ensemble literature that you need to be looking at. You know, like Alfred Reed. Like, all these people are great composers that deserve your attention. There are certain composers that you should stay away from at the college level for wind ensemble. David Holsinger is one of them. His music had its time. We've moved past it. Robert W. Smith is another one. Usually not writing anything at the grade 6 level. And it's just not great, you know. He has Africa. I know everybody knows Africa. Africa's probably his best piece. But stay away from that stuff. At the college level, like Mario said, there is plenty of talent out there. You should be playing grade 6 music. There are different levels of grade 6 music. And if you want to go back and play some 5s, that's cool. Ride by Samuel Hazel got a lot of people's ears going because it's a groovy piece and it sounds cool. Ride in some school districts is a grade 4. So if the feature piece on your concert is Ride, you're not playing on level. Now, granted, I heard Bethune-Cookman play Ride, and they played the snot out of Ride. It was so clean. I was like, okay, that's what Ride sounds like. But it wasn't the feature of their concert. Like you brought up Fam. Fam played Carnegie Hall. I'm quite sure they weren't in there playing Ascension by Robert W. Smith. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, y'all, here's the part for those of you that actually care about what we're talking about, is this. This is not white stuff we're talking about. This is music stuff. I know it's easy. You hear all this noise from these people around you. This is what the other side of the band world looks like. You know, when you're not talking about marching band. When you go to these conferences, these conferences are not just for your school's reunion and talking shit. You want to learn the literature? Go to some of these concerts. There's a lot of that's me and Julian's favorite part of going.
And keep the brochure, keep the pamphlets when you go, so you know exactly what the music is and who the composer was, who played it, who you can get it from. Man, keep all of that stuff.
Secondly, have a plan for how you plan your program. So when I program, I use the old, something new part. So I always like to have something old. I always like to have something new. I'm always going to have an African-American composer on my programs because there's a lot of us that write for the wind band idiom that don't get enough credit. And I've now started incorporating women into my whole philosophy of picking music. Like, at the end of the day, we need to have representation in wind ensemble. I know it's easy to say that's that white mess, but there's a lot of people that look like us that do wind ensemble at a high level. If you're teaching at the middle school level or the high school level and you want some great music, look up Quincy Hilliard. I know a lot of us have heard of Quincy Hilliard. Quincy Hilliard, for your younger bands, he has good music. He just does. Ann McGinty is another one. Ann McGinty was one of my favorites when I taught middle school. Mark Williams.
William
Right.
Owens.
Yeah, like all these people.
Willie Owens. Yep.
These are the people, this is what you need to be learning. All right. These are the things that's going to help you move your music education forward. I know it's easy to sit up here and talk about marching band all the time, but this is the important conversation and things you need to be learning as a music education student. I'm done.
Maya, do you want to follow that? I'm just asking.
Absolutely not. I agree with all references that have been set forth. I will be the first to say that this may be a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, so I'll leave it to you all. On level, I'm not sure if that verbiage is even, I don't know, music related. Like, I don't know if this is, listen, I agree.
So Maya, basically what it is, and it's actually a public school thing that extends to the university. So your public school music education should lead you into your college experience.
So is it up to par, basically? Like, are you playing at the level in which, if you're at
or your grade level?
Okay.
So in middle school, your first year band, you're developing the embouchure, you're learning how to play in tune. That's grade 1 music, right? As you progress through middle school, by the time you get to your school's 8th grade band, which is your advanced band in middle school, you should be playing grade 3 or 4 music in that range. There are some middle schools in Texas that are playing grade 4 and 5 music. I heard a middle school in Texas play first suite by Holst and second suite, and it was awesome. And it was a middle school.
I will tell you pre-pandemic, good Lord, pre-pandemic, my middle school was playing grade 4.
Yeah.
Pre-pandemic.
So by the time you get to freshman band and high school, you should be looking at 4 or 5 music. And then for the rest of your high school experience, sophomore year to senior year, you should be looking at grades 5 and 6 music. By the time you get to college, if a band director passes you grade 5 music, that person needs to be fired. Well, no, let me take it back because that triggers people. If you get to a program that is teaching on level, this is what that phrase on level, if you got that type of experience all the way through high school, your college should be playing grade 6 music. A lot of schools are not. The school I went to was not playing grade 6 at the time, even though all the Norfolk State people on here have heard how Mr. Fears was playing Lincolnshire Posey and stuff like that with the band. The music's in the library. It ain't just there for show. So they played it at some point. But when we were in the one ensemble at Norfolk State, Mario, Julian, and myself, we played grade 3 and 4 music. And that's unacceptable. I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing now. Miss Sanders is a hell of a musician. So I'm not sure what they're playing now, but that's how it was when I was in the band.
Quan, have you? I'm sorry, Maya. You good?
Oh no, you're fine. I was just gonna say interesting. Thank you for that added information. But yes, I disagree that. I agree that HBCUs or just programs in general, from the information I've just been provided, are playing on level for said reasons, and I'll just leave it at that.
Hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate the little insight that you were able to give. Hey, and we gonna keep it rolling.
I do what I can.
Blessings to you. All right, Quan. Did we get you, Quan? Or you?
Nah, I didn't go yet.
All right, you got it.
All right, so I think everybody agreed. I don't believe, and we, as a consensus, we don't agree that HBCUs are playing on at level as they should. I agree with that as well. But while everybody was giving an explanation, I thought about a few specific things. I thought about tradition. One thing that we have really, really bad is tradition, and we don't want to step outside of the box. And what I mean by that is, for example, when I marched in the college band, one of the marches that it seemed like every HBCU played for the most part was Purple Carnival. Honestly, you had like Purple Carnival. I believe you had the Klaxon. You might have played like Barnum and Bailey, but it was like a select few, but it was the same really across the board. that same mentality rolls over to concert band. It's whatever, honestly, that director honestly possibly played in college that he knows that he can honestly put in front of the kids quick, that he can overall be like, all right, this is going to be a danger area, measure 16 through whatever, and he knows it like the back of his hand. And so instead of truly adding something new to the library or repertoire, he honestly sticks what he knows. And what he possibly have is possibly like 10 to 12 songs that he's going to rotate every year for a program, merely to say, I had a concert band program, and this is what we're still doing. So that's number one. So we still have an issue with tradition, honestly, from that aspect. Like even Christian, he says Stars and Stripes. Like, it's the same thing over and over. So that rolls over in the concert band. Also, another thing I realized we're not doing, we're not setting up the music majors to prepare for rehearsal either. And that's something that I've seen. It may not be at every HBCU, but we're not also giving those music majors opportunities to know how to prepare for a concert, how to prepare for rehearsal, how to score study, how to interpret, those particular scores in musical pieces either. And honestly, the list goes on and on, but the bottom line is we're not. Honestly, when I was in concert band, I'm ashamed to say this because I played this for my high school band and middle school band, but we played John Edmondson, Amazing Grace. If you look that up in the UIL, the PML, I think now that may be a grade 2. But HBCUs have been playing, and I've seen other HBCUs playing it. Also, we don't promote our concert bands and wind ensemble with the same type of emphasis that we do for our marching bands. Like I said, the example that I said one time, Power, I think, had over like 100,000 views, and it was like 2 months. But their wind ensemble had like less than 50, and it was up for like 3 or 4 years. So we gotta learn how to promote and market all of our music departments, not just one aspect of our band programs. If we want to be just respected from a musical standard, not just, oh, that's black and that's white. Like we have to do better on that overall, because everybody doesn't love marching band the same way we do, just like everybody doesn't like concert band the same that we do. So we just got to do better overall, but no, we're not up to par on what we're playing.
Dope. Chief, you about to say something?
No, but Quan, you bring something up that's interesting. They don't like it. Here's the issue I have. A lot of the times, and I know this is not every band program, so I don't need people telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. But a lot of the times, students don't have appreciation for this stuff because the band director doesn't. They take the approach of the band director when it comes to these other facets of music. I am not a huge fan of early music, medieval, and Renaissance music. I'm not a big fan. But I can appreciate it, and I had to study it because I was a music major. There's a lot of things in life you have to do that you don't want to do. And a lot of people take the easy way out by saying, I don't like it, so I'm not going to put energy into it. We need to be making our kids do these things because it's going to make them better. It's going to make them.
That's that white mess.
I guess, man.
That's that white mess.
I guess, like I'm going to give you a prime example, and then I'll get out of the way because y'all might have something else.
I do want to add something to finish.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out of the way, Mario. John Mackey. John Mackey right now, y'all, is the it guy in wind ensemble music. All right. So at your university, you may not have the instrumentation to play some of John Mackey's bigger pieces, Wine Dark Sea, Frozen Cathedral, Asphalt Cocktail, whatever. You may not have the instrumentation for those pieces. So what John Mackey went back and did is he said, okay, I see the success of a piece like Wine Dark Sea, one of the best wind ensemble pieces I've ever heard in my life. Julian and I were at the premiere, and we were in complete awe for 30 minutes. The piece is 30 minutes long, and we were in complete awe. The movement 2, the ballad, is one of the most beautiful band ballads I've ever heard.
Dope.
We were in there, Quan.
When you read the story, when you actually read the program, oh my gosh. All right, but
so crowd, if y'all have never heard Wine Dark Sea by John Mackey, go look it up. And look for the University of Texas recording of it. It is incredible. That piece is astounding. Like, it's amazing. So what John Mackey did was like, okay, I wrote this dope ass piece, but there's a lot of bands that aren't on the level to be able to play this piece. So what John Mackey did was he took all the movements of Wine Dark Sea, and he's only released 2 of them so far. You have Until the Scars, and you have This Cruel Moon. And he made them easier. He wrote them in different keys, and he took some of the more difficult parts out. But they're still grade 4 and grade 5. You know what I'm saying? Like, these pieces are incredible. So if you want to get some good literature for your band, and I know everybody has criticism, oh, his music sounds the same. Cool. The fact of the matter is he's the guy in Wind Ensemble right now. And if you want to pick some cool music for your band that your students will absolutely enjoy and that will challenge you as a band director, I highly recommend looking at Until the Scars and This Cruel Moon by John Mackey. And they are all based on Wine Dark Sea. That's research. As a band director, I have to say, oh, I know I'm busy. I got marching band. But you still have to go out and do what it takes to be on the cutting edge of what's happening in music. You know, that's why a lot of tenure track professors, they're stressed because in addition to all their school responsibilities, still have to do research. So, you know, it's definitely something that people are going to have to address. Go ahead, Mario. I'm sorry.
No, I don't know. Something that we talked about, I think, a couple of shows ago just came to my mind. I was thinking about that. How we contour our track to make education fit for our students. And that came to my mind a little bit as we were talking about concert band. And I feel like anytime we were talking about forcing people. And I think in 2022, anything that has to be forced is going to come off incorrect in our culture nowadays. So I was wondering, I'm thinking in my head, there is a certain requirement of things that happens as a music education major that you should be required to be exposed to: concert band, jazz band, all the different ensembles. But when I think we were talking about like the music track for a student going into college, coming out of college. If you want to focus on jazz, then you should have a way to focus on that. If you want to focus on church music, you should be able to focus on that. If you want to focus on kind of like Broadway music and you want to be a Broadway musician or something like that, and that's like your focus of being a stage, a pit musician or something like that. I don't know, whatever it is. But I think that can be something that the focus for HBCUs, if they want to be cutting edge, because right now, all you're going to do is end up playing, trying to play catch up to all the PWIs in terms of the way that they're structured their programs. It's successful for them. It's successful for them for the most part, because they continue to put out people who know about things within that Western musical philosophy, and that's successful. What we do, because I just don't believe we're going to ever get to a point where what we're talking about is actually going to become our reality. So what I think there could be is something that we mentioned before, something that you actually brought up, Rick, and that's something more about structuring the music education. What am I talking about? I could think of the word.
Curriculum.
Yeah, the curriculum. Thank you so much. The curriculum around what the needs are of the young person is. Like, what do you want to do? What do they specifically want, direction they want to go in? However, it should be set up similar to how the nursing programs are. You know how you go into nursing, before you get into nursing, you have to do certain prerequisites. Everybody has to do certain things before you can even get into the actual nursing classes. It's to filter people out. And that's, obviously and that's important, because you don't need people who aren't going to be good nurses. I don't need poor educators in any field: math, English, science, music, any field. So if you're going to be an educator, we people could be a mathematician and reach back and say, man, I remember when my band director said this, because music teachers, I feel like, have such an important role. Coaches and music teachers have such an important role in young people's lives. But the goal, I think, is to try to get the on level, could be structuring a curriculum around the need base for each student in areas that are more conducive to the track of our lives. If we want to do music production, and that's something we really want to do, really setting up a connection with major organizations or different types of people you can bring in to let kids really be a part of what that needs to be for music production, if you want to be in all the other things we talked about. But I think that has to become something we do, because if you don't, you're going to just be playing catch up the whole time.
Well, let me ask you this, Mario, because that's a very interesting point, and I really want. I don't want to. It's not push back, but I want to. I want to put
I'm a little conflicted in it myself, but
right.
I'm thinking I'm trying to think out the box. That's all.
Well, but you bring up some very interesting, Mario, and I just want to get all of y'all's opinion. Do y'all feel like music majors at the HBCU level is one of the only majors on campus where it's okay that people aren't good enough and they still get a degree? Like you brought up nursing.
Right.
Those programs are made to weed people out.
Right.
There are people that graduate from college at HBCUs with music degrees that don't have what it takes to do what we do at a high level. But because of that nurturing aspect of an HBCU, oh, come on, baby. Everybody's school got a mama low. Everybody's school got a mama low. Where she come around hugging everybody, you her sweet baby, all that. Come here, my baby. That's what they say down there. Come here, my baby. Like, everybody got one of those, or two of those, three of those mismatches. You know what I'm saying? Let you in the cab,
at the end, right?
I ain't got my card. Come on, man. Just come on.
Like everything at the HBCU is set up to be nurturing. Are we preparing music students for the real world? Because at the end of the day, you have to have exceptional talent to do what we do at a high level. Anybody can go up there and wave their hands. That's one of the most difficult things for me is watching some of these these conductors get up on the podium. There's no musicality. They up there conducting with two hands in one ensemble. Like no musicality, no nothing. And I'm not saying you have to be a learned conductor, but what I am saying is that that's part of a music education, right? So you say you have to pass those requirements before you get to the what you actually want to do. So if they don't pass them, is it okay for us to say, yeah, you don't have what it takes to do what we need you to do the same way they do at the nursing program and stuff like that? So I wonder, y'all. Go ahead, y'all.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate for 1 second. I'm gonna be Rick. So Rick, throughout the show, you've taught me as well as stated to other viewers and followers that there's no such thing as a bad band. There are only bad directors. So I'm gonna flip that question. Are there no such thing as bad music education students? Are there bad instructors? Because I think it also falls to that as well. Because we've agreed there's a lot of honestly professors that that are tenured and they sitting back chilling, collecting their check. They might not show up to class, so forth and so on. They say here's the book, or they're passing some of these students. And what I realize is as I reflect on my undergraduate days, I've had some great moments. I've had some bittersweet moments. But what I realize is you never really know what you're about to walk into because you didn't experience it. Now it's up to that instructor to truly prep you. I think sometimes to a degree, there's some piss poor instructors that need to retire instead of sitting in these vital seats. And I think some of that is to blame too, fam.
That's a huge
but that's the same thing, right? That's what I always say. They teach those are band directors too. They just doing it at the college level instead of the secondary level. That statement I always make still applies, right? Like you look at it like this, Quan. At the end of the day, Russ, I'm an engineer, right? I want to be an engineer. My whole life, I said I wanted to be an engineer, but I can't do algebra, which is the most basic of man. Forget trigonometry, forget geometry, all these things that go into being able to build houses, whatever you want to do. I can't do those things. If I can't do those things, I can't go out and build houses. But only in our music programs can we say a student that can't read music can be somebody's damn band director. Like, come on, bro. Only at our schools does that happen. And then when you bring light to it, you in that white mess, no. No, I'm not. I'm in the real world. HBCUs, we want to nurture so much that we sometimes miss the mark when it comes on preparing our students what the real world actually looks like.
But let me say this real quick, Rick.
Go ahead, bro.
What you're saying right now is exactly one of the questions that I asked. I think it was last week or the week before last. Are HBCUs preparing us for the real world versus our PWIs? Right? Because
I hate the fact, though, Julian, that we always compare it to PWIs.
Well, that's true.
Forget them. We ain't talking about them.
Take them out, but it's still. But the question itself is still relevant. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
what I'm saying. No, what I'm saying.
I get it. I'm saying we could take them out. Let's take them out 100%. The question itself, are we preparing our kids, our music education students for the real world? That's literally the question that I asked, and I really find it very interesting that you're actually bringing it back up, and your eyes are being
But I've said this the whole show, right? Like I've said this the whole show. My regardless of the detractor, whatever, my opinion on music education is not going to change. As Black people, we must expect excellence from our people. When you look at 1960s, 50s, 70s, whatever you want to look at, different generations, at any of these schools we're talking about, Branford Marsalis went to Southern. You know what I'm saying? Like he's one of the preeminent tenor saxophone players, and he went to Southern. These people got amazing music educations. Mr. Watkins went to FAMU. Frank Williams went to FAMU. You know what I'm saying? What Emory Fields was doing at Norfolk State, like all these great, BB went to the Norfolk State, like all these great band directors went to HBCUs. So I think that's where I get so frustrated, Julian, is because the first thing people throw is PWIs. And I'm not saying that's us, but that's the first thing people throw out, PWIs. It's a lot of terrible PWIs out there, y'all. A lot of terrible ones.
Right.
Come look at some of these bands.
Right. It's a lot of them.
I think that UT can be put up as the pedestal because they're so amazing. Yeah, they are great. But everybody ain't UT.
But so North Texas and University of Texas, and those are exceptional school programs in general.
And there's more of them than there are of us. So there's a lot more mess than there is these superior programs that you're speaking of. My frustration is that as HBCUs, we got to stop looking at everybody else to save us. They ain't going to save us. We're going to save ourselves, but we're going to save ourselves through being able to come with what a standard is. I know that's triggering to some people, but a standard. When I get in the wind ensemble room, I need to know, what the literature is. I need to be able to teach the literature at a high level, not just the notes and dynamics. All right, like Mario went over a whole bunch of different ways of approaching music at the wind ensemble level. And then that applies to everything else. If you choose whatever style you choose, do your style, but make sure it's uniform from person to person. If everybody gonna hang over. Do that shit, man, whatever. I don't care. But for some reason, having high standards has been like people become allergic to it for some reason.
Because it's that white mess.
I guess, bro. Like I'm just never gonna subscribe to that, Jew. I'm not. I think about programs like Bethune-Cookman, FAMU, Southern has a really decent wind ensemble. I've heard some of those videos with Dr. Taylor conducting the wind ensemble.
Their wind ensemble is decent. Current clips too, current stuff. Yeah,
like what Dr. Taylor is doing with Southern's wind ensemble, they're doing great things. So Southern, Jackson State. I watched a video of Jackson State do Ghost Train by Eric Whitaker. It was great. Like there are a lot of programs, y'all, that are doing great things. But what we're saying is while you continue to do those great things, let's push the envelope. Let's stop playing Ride by Samuel Hazel. Let's stop and letting that be the feature too. Let's try to get into some of that John Mackey or into some of that Omar Thomas, who's an African-American from Virginia. Right. Or some of that Kevin Day, who's an African-American.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Go listen to Kevin Day's Euphonium Concerto.
He's amazing.
These are Black folks. This is not that white mess that y'all like to throw in people's face all the time. These are our people doing this music at a high level. But we don't know that because all we want to go out and talk about what rap song cranked on the other. There's a lot of Black folks that are doing this music at a high level and doing wind ensemble at a high level. You know, like I always bring them up. Alfred Watkins. Go learn the name. Go look him up. Like, stop saying that white man. It pisses me off so bad, bro. Like, it's like anything that we can't come up with a concise argument about, oh, you doing that white mess, dog. Like, get over yourselves, man. We can do this music just as good as they can.
I agree.
Who was that sound effect, bro?
It was me passing gas on the mic. I'm sorry. No, I agree. There we go. But no, one of the things I'm gonna say two things that we got to keep it rolling. one of the things that I've gotten a lot of feedback on, and I have to say it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna put it out there because I really don't care. Is the fact that it's not what Rick says, it's how Rick says it. It's like, you too aggressive. You hurt my feelings when I said it. I'm like, my thing is like,
They would have never been able to have conversations with us at Scott Hall
at all.
Bruh. Mario, and then look, and then the fact that we used to chop each other when you met. Right. You better not mess up.
You better don't try to make a point and start stuttering. And shit.
Right. You hit that stutter if you want to. That's why we know how to talk on this show, y'all.
Right.
Each other.
But my point is, look, chew the meat and spit out the bones, man. Like, real talk. Like, it's not like he's saying something that's wrong. And I'm gonna be quite honest when I say this. There's a lot of people out there who are saying some great things, but I find it very interesting, and it kind of goes back to some of the earlier things that we said. And this is no slight to anybody, so let me put that disclaimer out there. If Kedrick Taylor said the exact same thing that Rick said, then everybody would take it as gospel. Let's just keep it a buck.
True.
Let's keep it a buck.
Let me listen here, my baby. How you doing? My name's Rick. I've been teaching marching band and concert band and jazz band and went on all these things for over 17 years now. 17 years.
That's
and
just
what I'll say is this. Some of you had not so great band directors, and they didn't prepare you for what the real world looks like. But when you actually get into the real world, it's not fun if you're not prepared. When I went to graduate school to get my doctorate, I was not prepared at the level I needed to be there.
Absolutely.
So I had to go back and work my tail off to be great at it.
Absolutely.
With all the talent in the world. Julian had to do the same thing. Mario had to do the same thing. Quan had to do the same thing. When Maya goes back and get her master's and doctorate, she's going to have to do the same thing.
She said she ain't going none of it.
Right. Like
I'm done.
That's it, my baby. Like, I know we want to turn this into a black and white thing, but this is the who do know and the who don't know thing. It has nothing to do with race.
But this was the other thing that I wanted to say, Rick. The other thing that I wanted to say is, and this is why, and this is once again, let me put it out here. I have respect and appreciate all shows. You know, every single show out there who's out there having conversations. I do. You know, but this is why I love this show, because we're having these kind of conversations, because I know that while there may be some band heads who are in here, and I respect the fact that there are band heads in here because you may be getting some information that you didn't know. There are educators in here too who are thriving for this type of information. This is why I say that we have the uncomfortable conversations about music education, HBCU, band culture, band, and more, because these conversations are necessary. You know, I enjoy having a conversation, but I also enjoy coming up with some of the solutions too that Rick just came up with.
But Maya, Julian, Chief, and Quan, can I ask y'all this last thing before we move on?
No.
What about people's pride? Like, do people have any, like, as a band director? I'm gonna give you a prime example, Quan. In 2012, we brought Dr. Sanford down to PV. It was our first year there. We brought Dr. Sanford down because we did a pre-UIL at PV. We were like, man, we're committed to not just being a marching band. We want to do every facet. DeSoto High School from Dallas came to the pre-UIL. I was sitting beside Julian. They played the freak out of this music. They played all grade 6. It was incredible. I'm sitting there, and my pride is like, I teach at the university level. This is my first year at PV. They play circles around us. Oh, hell no. Let's go. Like, where is the pride? Like, does anybody, like, is pride missing?
Well,
like,
pride. Let me answer that question.
I better have a response to that.
Yeah, me too.
I think pride is based on the level of the person who's in front of the program. I think pride looks different from person to person. Some people's pride may be just not getting cranked on. You know what I'm saying? Where another person's pride may be playing grade 6 music and playing at a high level. Another person's pride may be, hell, we just you know, I may not have the strongest students in the world, but hell, we were able to hold an F concert all together. You mean like pride is different based on the individuals and the individual programs.
But I'm not saying we had to be them. What I'm saying is that was a thing that I put up here and say, okay, if that's the pinnacle, then I'm going to work my tail off to make sure our ensembles are at least there and go past it. That's what I'm talking about. I think you're right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Chief, go ahead, and then that'll be the last thought.
No, my comment about the pride was that the reason some people, that's a part of the issue. The pride is the reason people place them in the same tunes. That's the pride. The pride is that I don't want to go into a space of unknown because I have too much pride and I don't want to admit that I don't know. So I'd rather stay in a space of comfort rather than be uncomfortable. Discomfort is where growth dwells.
So I'm gonna say this, like you
I say Chief was the last thought. You don't listen, but what's wrong with our people? Go ahead, Quan. You good?
So, but my thing is this: at the end of the day, what I look at HBCUs, and it's not all, but for the most part, is your marching band is what your Sunday's best is what you dress up. Your concert band is what you put on behind closed doors. And a lot of people are hiding behind closed doors with their concert band and not publicizing their concert band because they don't want to be basically showed out, like Rick said, by other high schools that are pushing the envelope in both facets instead of one. Bottom line.
All right, man. That went, man. All these topics, man. Y'all killing it today, man. I appreciate y'all. All right, let's keep it rolling. All right, if you're just tuning in, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. If you're in here, you just now tuning in, go ahead and smash that like button. If you haven't done it already, go ahead and hit that like button. Let's get these likes up. Also, subscribe to the network. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. If you're watching us on Facebook, go over to YouTube and click the subscribe button on the YouTube page. Also, we are on Spotify, so if you miss anything today, this show will be uploaded tomorrow on Spotify. Yay. Congratulations. So you'll be able to check out whatever you missed from the earlier comments, and also go check out some of our earlier episodes. All right. This will be the final topic. And as we get into the final topic, I will put the link up so that you can come in and call in with us. I will also put in the subscription. So all you got to do is refresh your browser and it'll be right there for you. All right. This was the last topic. This was the conversation that me and Rick were having. I think it was yesterday, and it was a very interesting conversation, and I really want to see what you all's opinions about it is. Maya, I'm gonna let you go first on this. I'm letting you know now, so just be ready. So here we go. The topic of the night is the one where all the viewership is about to go up. Maybe. All right. Southern. Often imitated, but never duplicated. Is that true? Southern. Often imitated, but never duplicated. Is that true? I ain't even gonna say who first, because you already know you first. I already said it. You had your wing.
Well, you read my mind one because I was gonna say, can I go first? Because I need to bow out anyways. However, I'm trying not to be too vulgar because I really just want to say, why do we care? Like, why do we give a fuck? Like, like, why? Like, what? I don't like Southern often imitated but never duplicated. I don't care. Like, why do we care? And I think that, and again, I feel you. However, I feel you on just like, we're just having conversations. But to me, I think that this adds to the fact of like, this is why we can't progress forward. This is why people who don't feel strongly enough to be able to live in their brand or their persona of whatever the vibe or the reference or the interpretation of whatever program that they exist in, to be able to be related to or feel important, because it always has to double back to goddamn Southern. I mean, I feel you, like when they do what they do, fine, sure, what have you. But at the end of the day, who gives a fuck? Like, let them be them. Let everybody else be everyone else. And let's just, so never duplicate it. You can't duplicate. What? Duplicate what? Like, it's true, but why are they the standard rip? Because they're not the. I think that they're the standard, but it's for unrealistic reasons. It's because they do a hell of a job in terms of their media, their exposure, and they loud as fuck. What do I say every week? We the blacks, we like loud shit. We like entertaining shit. We like gaudy shit. We like up in arm stuff, and that's what Southern is known for. Southern, if we want to talk about, we'll take it back to Drumline. Morris Brown versus A&T. Southern is the Morris Brown of. They just, you know what I'm saying? So Southern often imitated, no. Duplicated, no. But I don't think that stands for anybody. Like, they just loud and they do what they want to do. They're in a category of their own, but I think each HBCU is. That's what sets each program different. But again, I mean, I thought it was just a catchy phrase. Ha, yeah, I mean, I feel you. But again, there's a reason why people cannot get out of the trenches, because they're held under the umbrella of Southern, and Jackson State as an honorable mention. We've got to get past that. Again, yes, I kind of went off a little bit, but I don't care. Like, I don't care.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
And to all the Southern people in here who may, sure, fine, but I hate to even say that I have to say I shoot for the underdog, because why does there even have to be an underdog? I'll just rest my case in saying we cannot exist, we cannot push the culture forward if we're always comparing ourselves to someone else, and that's just putting batteries in their back. That's just why we are where we are. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm done.
Mic drop.
See y'all next week. I love you very much, but I gotta get to the family daily.
Maya has to go, y'all. So don't leave because Maya's leaving.
No, please don't leave. I'm gonna watch the comments when I go back and rewatch. But yeah, praise be.
Go ahead, do your family. We'll see you
next
week.
Guys. Love you. See you next week.
All right. Rick, I'm gonna save you for last only because I know this was a conversation that we had, and I know, yeah. All right, Quan. Southern, often imitated but never duplicated. Is that true?
I do think many people strive to imitate them. I do. And I think that because people don't want to step out their box. I think what you have to give Southern their respect on is this. They do them. Real talk. Now, everybody else is striving for the most part to mimic them only from this point of view. When you look at Bill Moffitt's Patterns in Motion, out of HBCU bands, for the most part, they the ones that do it well to a high level. The issue is when everybody else tries to do Patterns in Motion, everybody's comparing a Patterns in Motion or a step 2 drill to who? Southern. That's the quote unquote imitated portion of it. But I do think it's other bands that are there that are doing it at a high level. Now, in my opinion, that shit is boring after a while. I'm from Louisiana, but I can go through a Southern show from a certain time frame and be like, all right, they're about to turn here.
Yeah.
You about to turn here. Okay, concert formation. Okay, dancing dolls. Okay, dancing dolls. Okay, right now they're going to break up into their 4 boxes, do their little dance routine, come back together, either come off on Do What You Want or they're going to be blowing that thing. Like, they're the standard of tradition from the aspect of we know what they're going to do. And they cool with doing them. The problem is other bands don't want to step out of the box and create their own identity. I see somebody that said, doesn't Langston imitate Southern? If you do a step 2 drill, they're going to say you got it from Southern. People really think Southern created the step 2 drill, which is unfortunate. But imitated but never duplicated, I think there's other bands that's doing some great things out there. But again, like Maya said, due to the media team and due to their honestly cult following ass fans, everybody going to say that.
All right. Bet. Mario, Southern, often imitated but never duplicated. Is that true?
I don't know, man. I don't really care, bro. I know. I feel like maybe I should care. I know we're answering questions on here and everything. I don't care. I went to Norfolk State for a reason. And though my band directors went to Southern, we didn't sound like Southern, or we didn't do anything that Southern did. So I don't feel like my experience is not like that. So I can't speak for every other person, man. Other people may be trying to, their other programs might be trying to mock them or whatever. But obviously, that's like saying, can somebody be me? Nobody can be me but me. So, like, of course, anybody who tries to do things within the type of sphere that they're doing them, they're gonna obviously say, oh yeah, that's like trying to be like Southern. But it's like you play a rap song, or that's trying to be like Southern too. Like, I mean, you can't do nothing. You just can't do nothing. You just put your instrument, just put the shit in the case. Don't play nothing, because everything gonna be trying to be like Southern. They're like, oh, y'all trying to put your instrument in the case like Southern. What the fuck? Like, I mean, like, it's just ridiculous. I think the idea of everything is trying to be copied from them. I think there are bands, if you look at certain programs, the style of play, like the aggressive play, I'm not a SWAC historian, so I guess I need to be a little bit more of a SWAC historian to even make this comment. So I'll be very careful with my words. But many people associate Southern with the kind of the origins of the SWAC style, mainly because they're from Louisiana. You know what I mean? And in Louisiana, style of brass bands and the aggressive style of the music played in the area, that is associated to the two colleges that are in that area, Southern and Grambling. Now, I think when it comes to Southern, people do try to copy not their marching style. I don't think anybody tries to do that. I don't think people are trying to copy the way they look on the field per se. Maybe, I guess somebody said Langston. I don't watch Langston enough to know, but the playing of the style of music, maybe like, like the hanging over trumpet shit, or like the loud, ruined baritones. Maybe you want to call that people trying to emulate, what they believe Southern's all about. But I don't know. I'm gonna speak for myself. No, I wasn't trying to imitate anything that Southern was doing. And be honest, when I left high school, I was really into Jackson, Tennessee State, and FAM. And Norfolk came and swooped me in at the last minute. So I was not really thinking Southern when I went to college. But I mean, it's different people, and I think it's regional. So if you go down to the southeastern or southwestern United States, of course, the bands in that area are going to be following the band that probably gets the most promotion. So obviously, all the high schools around that area are going to try to emulate what they see Southern doing. I don't know how many bands are trying to do what Grambling's doing, from Louisiana. Maybe you can tell me that, Quan. How many bands try to like copy like what Grambling's doing? So maybe because Southern's getting all the pub and they getting all the, because they got the media teams, doing their thing. Maybe that's part of it. So, but yeah, nobody can be anybody else. Period. You can try, but you won't ever be anybody else. Period.
Let me say this before Rick go. But a lot of these directors, because I see the comments, they're speaking about when directors go to other schools and whatnot. A lot of them directors are merely doing what they know, though. They're not pushing the envelope. They're doing what they know. Prime example, no disrespect to them, but like, for example, when Talladega was at the Cracker Barrel thing, we knew that was honestly, even though they were inserted late and whatnot, there was inserted to the program last minute. That was a Southern show for the most part. We know that, bro. Like, we gotta get out of that aspect. Like, everybody who graduated from Southern, they're doing what Southern does. They're doing what they know. Nobody's pushing outside of the envelope. And that's all what we're saying, to create variety overall. And I could say it, Prof Ed was, for the most part, didn't do much of that either, because he mimicked FAMU a lot. But then he developed certain specific things that was somewhat different. But for the most part, he did what FAMU did.
All right, Rick.
I don't care. I don't care.
Ready for this, bro?
I am, man.
All right.
It's interesting hearing some of the perspective, man. So, y'all, let me give you some context of where this question came from. It is implied that I am the biggest Southern hater in the world. I'm not. I've said many times on this show, I think they're a great band. I don't know how else to say it. I don't hate Southern. I don't. But I think that I have a huge issue with the amount of people that imitate their band. I think they are the most imitated band probably in the country. I do. I think a lot of high schools, a lot of colleges imitate their band and varying degrees of success. Let's just answer the question. Yes, they are the most imitated band in my opinion. I think Mario hit it on the head too. I think imitation is regional. We weren't imitating Southern up in Virginia. We were imitating Norfolk State. All the bands in that region were baby Norfolk State. I see Norcom, Booker T. Washington, Norview, all the schools in that area. But Bernard went to Hampton, and his school sounds more like Norfolk, And he has the best band in the Tidewater area from a show style perspective. So, and he's probably not imitating Norfolk, but because Norfolk is what's considered successful in that area, and Bernard has a successful band over at Kingsford, people will automatically assume he's trying to imitate Norfolk. I know he's not. He's just a good band director. So I'll leave that part there. Here's what the conversation we had, y'all, and I think it's gonna surprise some people because I agree with you, Mario, and I don't want to be that band. I just don't. I never will. I can appreciate them for who they are and what they do, but I will never stand in front of a band and try to be them. But where Julie and I were discussing it, and I think it's important that we bring this up in the conversation, other than just I don't care, is whether you love Southern or not, whether you hate them, whether you went to whatever school in the world, the fact of the matter is Southern can put receipts up against any band in the country. They can. If I went to Southern, I can say, hey, you can say whatever you want about us. We ain't musical. We ain't this and that. We got band directors at this college, that 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 college. And this goes all the way back to Dr. Sanford's generation. We got Paul Adams. We got Dr. Sanford. We got all these people. That's receipts. You look at these high schools in their area, I'm quite sure a majority of those band directors came from their university. Receipts. So at the end of the day, do I think that they are the pinnacle of HBCU bands? I do not. But I think that at the end of the day, they have room for the arguments that they make because they have the receipts to prove it. I mean, I'm like you, Mario. When I wasn't the band, it was two bands that I applied for when I graduated from college, from high school, and that was Norfolk State, and that was FAMU. I didn't know what the HBCU band culture was at all going into Norfolk State. My favorite band was FAMU. And before I keep going, I want to give a shout out to this new hair, Julian. Go ahead, bro. Got that hair daddy coming back. I'm proud of you, dog. I love you, man. But anyway,
so it's gonna be bald by Monday.
Tight. Hit the hair. But for me, I didn't know what that culture was, so I never saw that imitation. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to go to JMU or Norfolk. That was it. So it was one of those things where all the black band directors and the show style band directors in our area all came from Norfolk State. Juliet was at Norview, Norfolk State. BB was out at Norcom, and then he went to Huguenot High School, Norfolk State. And these are the best bands in the Virginia area, y'all. And they all went to Norfolk State. So I think imitation.
DC and grab James too.
Right. What James is doing in DC. Ain't no question who the best band in DC is. My rookie brother, and he's a Norfolk State grad.
James Perry.
Yep. So I think imitation is regional, like Mario said. I absolutely agree with you, my friend. But for anybody that graduated from Southern or is a Southern fan, I think I'm going to say they have the room to back up some of these claims that they make because they have the receipts to show for it. Now, I'll close by saying this. There has to be variety in what we do. There just has to. I've said on this show many times, I think one of the biggest things that happened in our community is when FAM got disbanded for a couple of years. because before that, them and Southern were like the pinnacles. You know, there was two bands that people had to choose from. Either you did this style or you did that style. Secondly, go listen to some Southern from the 70s, 80s, early 90s, all the way probably through the 2000s. It was a different band. You know what I'm saying? It was a different approach. It was a different band. Yeah, they still had the bombastic nature, but at the end of the day, you know, they were balanced. Glenn, they played challenging, like they still play challenging stuff, but it was just a different band. You know, but you know, things change. And I think that they are allowed to have the style they have. I think FAM's allowed to have theirs. I think now if there's a band that is completely different, there's a couple band that pops to mind for me that are genuinely them. Bethune-Cookman, whether you like them or not, you think they're born or not, Bethune is Bethune. They ain't trying to be nobody but Bethune. FAMU, Tennessee State. I've never seen Tennessee State emulate anybody else. Norfolk State, Southern, what DeLynn is doing at North Carolina Central. It would be easy for people to say, oh, they just trying to be Norfolk. No, they're not. They just have a great band director. You know, North Carolina Central, what Dr. Ruff is doing at A&T. There's a lot of bands that have their own personality. It's just that because we see more of Southern and because we, you know, we like what they do in certain instances, I think it's easy for everybody to say, okay, I want my band to look like that, especially regionally. You know, I don't know, Julie, you can elaborate on this, but like I know in Texas, you know, a lot of the show style bands don't look like Southern, you know, and I know from you saying from growing up, Texas Southern was the band that everybody emulated. So, and maybe it'll be that way now, man, because I know for a fact that PV is making some good headway in the city with style and musicality and interpretation. So I think imitation is regional. Um, duplication and all. I don't think we can duplicate anybody because then you come off as a false facsimile. So yeah, I think that you know they have the receipts. They have a lot of successful people doing it at a high level, and kudos to them, man. They're a great band. They have great alumni, and so do a lot of other universities.
So let me pick up where you left off to kind of continue with what the conversation was yesterday. Because he's absolutely right. That was part of the conversation yesterday, basically saying that regardless of the fact of what we may feel about Southern, and let me put it out there, nobody on this panel has ever said that they dislike Southern. So let me just go ahead and say that. But regardless of the fact, they have people in place and they have put out directors, regardless of whether those directors imitated what Southern does or not. Because you can look at Dr. Zachary, and Dr. Zachary is from Southern, but Prairie View don't look like Southern. Even when he was at Norfolk, it didn't look like Southern. It didn't sound like Southern. You know, O'Neill Sanford, you know, Dr. Sanford. Even if you look now, you know, you got Southern band directors right here in Dallas, you know, at these high schools taking over programs. You got Southern high school band directors, not only in Louisiana, but other parts of Texas and Mississippi. Like they're everywhere, bro. And regardless of, you know, whether you agree with the product that they put out or not, the reality is that they're there. And, you know, like Rick said, the receipt can be put on it. Well, we got these people in these places, you know. Now the other part of that in the conversation that we were having was that whether we want to be honest with ourselves or not, when we talk about the evolution of HBCU bands, Southern was a very, very big part of that. Like the way that they approach music, the way that as far as the way that they approach music in the stands and all that kind of stuff, that evolution started with Southern, and we cannot deny that. If you try to deny that, you'd be lying to yourself.
Well, I say recent
Yeah, recent, absolutely.
Because I think every band, like I remember when Mario and them first, y'all to let y'all know, Mario introduced me to Southern. I had never heard Southern's band before until I saw those band clips of Mario and them standing in front of their band room when they went there in high school. That was the first time I had ever heard Southern. And then Mario played me I Remember, and I was like, man, this is amazing. I love I Remember. I thought I Remember was the shit, you know, but
still rocks.
Yeah, right. But for me, it was I had never seen this band before, and my first impression was like, people actually like this. like because I was brought up a certain way when it came to music. I then gained an appreciation for different styles of music, which led me to say, okay, I can appreciate that for what it is, that for what it is, and so forth. Because like I said, when I was in Norfolk State's band, we used to laugh at those bands that we used to say all they doing is blasting. There's no musical approach to it. We used to laugh at it. Now it's like, nobody's laughing anymore. Those are the bands that everybody, holds on high esteem. And I can't wait for Norfolk to get their size back and to be able to get a little more national exposure, because I think Norfolk is positioned to be that other band that people hold up in the Southern conversation.
I agree.
Yep.
If they can get about
She's not
250,
here.
I agree.
There we go.
if they can get to about 250, and if they can continue to refine that stands book,
They need 300. I'm gonna tell you why they need 300, because they won't ever have instrumentation that's all brass like that.
right?
So you're gonna need 300 to really get the range of the band. The closest they was to that size was
09.
09.
Yeah, 09, yeah.
Closest to that.
Yeah,
size.
in 09 we had 289.
Yep.
And we were, like I said, I was graduate assistant of that band. That is the best band Norfolk State ever had. That band was incredible. I posted some video clips, matter of fact, the other day, of the charts that I worked on that year. And you listen to those clips, man, like it's just refinement, man. Like that band was just incredible. So I think Norfolk State is keenly positioned to be that second band that people hold in that upper echelon that's different from them. And it will also be interesting is once Norfolk State gets their numbers up, if those two bands can make it like to a SWAC championship or something like that, MEAC SWAC championship, and actually face off against one another for the first time. Because Mario, Jr., you know how it was when we were in school. We used to like, man, we want to see Southern. Everybody, we ain't worried about these. Right, all these bands we beat up on all the time, we ain't worried about them. We want to see Southern. And when we got down there, we want a full strength because Julian got hurt. So we ain't had a full strength of our band. But when we went down there in 03, we went down there with a purpose. And we was not playing no games when it's a video still on. Right.
We don't talk about that in my presence. We just don't have that.
So yeah, man, that would be interesting. So yeah, good question. But I think that imitation is regional, but you can't deny that, they have people in high places in the band world, man.
All right. There it is. We just wrapped. Kari, I saw you down there, brother. If you want to get back in, I'm going to put the link back in. Matter of fact, let me do that right now. I'm putting the link back inside of the chat. Also, once again, the link to call in with us is in the description. All you got to do is refresh your browser, and it's going to be in there. If you're on Facebook, Facebook's real weird. It won't let you update any of the information while you're live. So you would have to come over to the YouTube or just click the link that's inside of the chat. All right, we got our first guest, man. We ain't had him on in about 2 weeks, man. So let's welcome Justin back to the show.
What up, guys?
What up, fella? What's good with you, brethren?
What's up,
What's
Doc?
going on, bro?
I'm cooling, man. Hey, Quan, I wasn't trying to combat what you was saying. I was just like, I'm glad Rick and them like brought it home. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, at the end of the day, I don't give a hell what the hell nobody says. The goats, Dr. Oliver, I'm not Oliver, Dr. Zachary, and everybody else who come from Southern University. If I went to Southern, at the end of the day, I can say that's a product of Southern University. I don't care if they had the ability to keep what the schools was doing and keep the tradition going. Even like we talk about Talladega, Bonds started a whole band. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what you thought of it. You know what I'm saying? Graduated hundreds of Black individuals. He's goated, and that's a product of Southern University. So it don't matter what you say. That's all I was trying to get across. So I want to go back a little bit. Rick, I agree with everything you were saying about the concert situation. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm one of the ones to quickly throw in people's face. We talk about concert band, but let me type in any one of y'all HBCUs and marching band clips come up. Do you think we can push the envelope forward on the concert level if we start our own HBCU concert festival? I think it should happen. It's long overdue. Do you think that could be a great start? Because when people start going and you get this media attention now, everybody make anything a competition, even if it's just a showcase. Who has
Well,
the best?
there are already resources that exist, right? Like the HBCU Band Consortium. In 2015 at PV, we took all of our ensembles there. So my jazz band played, the wind ensemble played. We had some chamber ensembles and everything, and it was incredible. People really got to see what we were doing outside. We played Colonial Song by Percy Granger. We played some Wagner. Like we played all these grade 6 pieces to show that it could be done. So the avenues are there. The challenge, Justin, to be honest with you, bro, is going to be the same challenge that Julian, Dr. Zachary, and I had, and Brandon in that room when we brought up adjudication and when we brought up exactly what you're talking about. And it's going to be participation. A lot of bands, Justin, have more to lose with coming in third or fourth. There's a lot of bands. DeLynn could come from North Carolina Central, and if they came in second place or first place, they would people would be like, yeah, okay, not knowing that North Carolina Central has probably the best jazz band at a HBCU. Like their jazz band is incredible, but people wouldn't know that because they can't find it, like you said, on YouTube. So I think the biggest thing is going to be the schools that have more, the schools that can stand online, Justin, and say we the kings or we the best. And I'm not talking about Southern, y'all. I'm talking about any band that comes on there and talking about how they the best at something, but then don't have to put their money where their mouth is. Like I said on the show today, Southern has a good one ensemble. What Dr. Taylor is doing with them, he's doing great work. I don't know him personally. I've never met that brother a day in my life, but it's clear that he's a good musician. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But so I'm not talking about his group, but there's a lot of bands, Justin, that have a lot more to lose than a small band, which we don't really give a lot of credit because we don't see them that much.
I think even with that, it would have to be some type of sponsorship situation where like they get paid for coming type deal. I feel like we can make it work.
But no,
but listen.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
I really don't think they have a lot to lose because the conversation is already done. You know what I'm saying? Like I think the chief already said it. You know what I'm saying? Marching band is what we want to see. You know what I'm saying? We want to see the stands. We want to see the blowing. So even if North Carolina Central win at one of these adjudicated situations, you know what we're gonna say? I mean, at the end of the day, I bet y'all want to see us in marching band. So I mean, I feel like it's gonna happen. So I feel like we still need to push forward for something like this. You know what I'm saying? Because I do. It's like when I argue with somebody, I want to have you at every situation possible. As soon as you start talking this concert shit, you know what I'm saying? I gotta get quiet a little bit. I'm like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Damn, like he got some context to what he say. I could easily just keep saying marching band, because it is what it is. But I want to still be able to say, like, damn, we'll kick your ass in concert band too. But it's not seen enough. Like it was crazy.
But you and I are saying the same thing, right, Justin? Like, for instance, Southern has one of the best wind ensembles at an HBCU. They do. Everybody, you don't believe me? Go look. They have clips online right now. I think they post every concert that they do. They ain't hiding. You know what I'm saying? They aren't. But there are wind ensembles that are better. And that's always my biggest thing that I say on this show, Justin, that pisses people off for some reason. But I'm going to continue to say it. If you love something, it's okay for it to be great, but you want it to be better. Right. Southern is a great band. They do a lot of things better than everybody. But there are ways that they can grow just like every band program can go. I want to see 100% Southern. I don't want to see 75 or 80% Southern. I want to see Southern when everybody's kicking on all cylinders. Because if they can do what they're doing now at 80%, imagine what 100% Southern sounds like. And that's a lot of bands. Mario brought it up earlier. PV's band sounds good. I don't know why we can't admit that. Maybe it's like, maybe it burns. Like maybe it burns. I don't know. Maybe when they say it, like it burned a little bit. I don't know. But PV's band sounds amazing. But PV's band puts out some clips that don't paint them in their best light. And that's the things that people attach to. They don't attach to all the great things that they do that sound amazing. Remember, Justin, I'm glad you're here because I'm going to bring it back up because Julian and I were like going off on a couple of shows ago. You remember in 2020, the COVID year, when PV put those clips out of them in the stadium, and everybody was losing their damn mind because they said that PV was recorded that in a studio.
Mm-hmm. That's the same thing Ink can do.
Right. They couldn't say that PV, first of all, that was absolutely false. Right. Secondly, they couldn't just say that PV sounded good. They had to justify why they sound good so they could tear them down. That's the nature of our community, Justin. We can't just say that band sounded great. But I heard none of those comments when Southern released that Leave the Door Open video with the music on the stand. That's my issue. We can tear another band down like they're the worst thing we've ever heard in our life, but we can't be critical of the thing we say we love. Southern, you sound amazing on that Leave the Door Open, but the music was on the stand. So you can say whatever you want. The music was on the stand. It's visible in the video. PV, you guys sound amazing. And all these people that are trying to justify why you sound amazing, F them. Because they don't care about you anyway. And they never going to care about you. And that's my only thing that I'm trying to get people to be objective about. I can support Southern. I can support you. Smash, I watch your videos all the time, bro. Because as a black man, I think it's our responsibility to lift each other up. I know this brother. I know he's out here. He created this platform. Every time you come out with a video, I watch it. Just to support you.
Same here, bro.
Right. So
same here.
Let's be able to lift each other up as black folks while also making us better. And that's to me what the civil rights movement was.
Let me quickly interject real quick, Rick, and then you can keep going. Bro. One of the things, and I definitely will give you your flowers too, Justin, while you're sitting right here. One of the things that I do respect about you too is you come in and you had a conversations with us. If you're curious about something, you'll ask, and you'll get the context from Rick or Chief or Quan, and then we'll move forward, and you come back every show, and you just got the respect for it, and we respect you because of it. You know what I'm saying? I think the problem that we have, especially in the community, is the fact that Rick will say something. I got to throw Rick out there because it's usually always Rick. But Rick will say something, and then it'll trigger everybody. But nobody's willing to have the conversation with him just to say, like, all right, well, where did you get that idea from? Or where did you get that thought from? That's why I respect, Crucial Conflict and Darrell and Berger and all of them, because when Rick said what he said, they were right over here, and they came in, and they was like, what the hell was you thinking when you said that? And then when they had the conversation, it was like, all right, cool, bet, no problem, And I think that that's what needs to happen in a lot of our conversations, not just our platforms, but I'm talking about general conversations that we have. Even you coming in and you asking about the adjudicated thing, like there are other avenues. Like I think it's what IMA. Are they still doing? Is that called?
Yeah.
IMA still doing IMA? I don't know if they are, but we used to do IMA when we were in undergrad, where we would get some of the top musicians that were in the MEAC, and we would all go to one central location. It would be at whatever school. One year it was at Norfolk. 1 year it was at Bowie, I think. Randomly.
It's the MEAC and the CIAA.
Yeah, and we would it would be a concert band, it would be a jazz ensemble, it would be then we do an orchestra, I think at one time. It would be choir. Did we do orchestra one time?
Not when I did it early.
What time did this go on?
It goes on in the spring during concert.
It's literally the week of Valentine's Day usually every year.
Yeah.
And I'll never be it because that's the same weekend as TMEA.
Yeah,
but here's
your TMEA. But all right, go ahead, Rick.
But here's the thing too, Justin, you absolutely right. Because and Julie and Mario, I know y'all remember this. Even during concert season, you will have snare drummers back there on the concert snare challenging dudes from other schools on playing rudiments and stuff on the snare drum. I'm sitting there like, dog, we in here playing Jericho. And y'all back there playing whatever Swiss Armies and stuff, trying to one up the next person. Like, I understand this competition. Everything's a competition, right? Like, it's crazy to me. But at the end of the day, I love that fire. I just wish we could push that fire into a more constructive direction where we're supporting each other. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think at the end of the day, bro, like even on tele interview, I watched the interview 3 times. You know what I'm saying? With the craziest part about it is I can call him. And that's what makes me, why I'm watching, I can call him and ask him. But I'm like, who, besides us, bro, who are we trying to impress? Let's say, for instance, we do the Rick route. We we push the envelope, and then each year we get harder and harder pieces. Like earlier when you naming them damn black composers over there, I was like, I'm gonna lick them up. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like, okay, what's next? Like, I mean, because after spring, concert in the spring, you go back to summer, and everything you pretty much learned in the springtime is gonna go out the window in the summer because we won't come back.
Nah, but it
in
should.
the fall.
But see, that's the problem, though. You've answered your question in identifying what the problem is.
Right, that's
you
what
said,
we're talking about.
Right. That's what you just said is exactly what I've been saying, brother. And if you can link me and Dr. Taylor, I would love to talk to that brother because I've never talked to him before. I don't know him, but I'm sure we could have a constructive conversation. I think.
Yeah, I was gonna reach out to him.
Yeah, because I think that a lot of people are trying to pick.
He's a 6, right? He's a 6, right?
He is.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help his terrible fraternity choice.
It's great.
But, for me, Justin, you answered your question, right? Who are we trying to impress? We're not trying to impress anybody. We're trying to move our culture forward. I think so many times, and that's what I was talking about earlier, we interject everybody into what's ours. This is ours. And when I say ours, I'm talking about MEAC, SWAC, SEAC, whoever. We are a body. But we look at each other as separate entities of the same body. It's ridiculous. To me, here's why I am so passionate about this, Justin, because at the end of the day, we're improving Black people. If you leave a university and the only thing you know how to do is one thing, it immediately closes you off from thousands of jobs that you could have gotten as a student out of college that a student from another school is going to get. There are more other schools than show style schools in the country. If I live in the state of Louisiana, and I want to be a band director at that university level, I need to be able to be going anywhere. And we always turn that into black and white. It ain't black and white. Qualification is qualification. I don't want Southern to change the way they sound. That's who they are. That's their approach, and it's cool. Like I say, I love that chart, man. I love every time they play it. I know it's gonna be massive.
I'm gonna need you to say something different than I remember.
That's my chart, bro.
Hey, man, I remember it's gonna be a banger forever.
That ain't my favorite at all. But
it has so much in it. It's like it have everything that you're looking for. You talk about in it. That's not a regular. It's just crank. It just happen to crank. You know what I'm saying? It has everything.
When I think of Southern, I automatically go to Never Satisfied.
I take that.
I go to King Miller.
I'm a Never Satisfied person. That's me right there.
I love Never Satisfied, but I played Never Satisfied in high school.
But we're all fanboying.
That's high school though. That take me back to Cass though. That's high school.
But we're all fanboying on guess what? Songs that aren't rap. On every last song that we just made.
I'm gonna need you like a rap song, Rick.
I like when they play a Holy Grail. Me and Julian were standing. When me and Julian were standing on the Jackson side when they played Holy Grail, and everybody seen the video. The first time they played it straightforward. The second time they faced Jackson and played it, and to this day, that's one of the loudest across the field. That is the loudest across the field I've ever heard, man. Because usually, bro. I mean, I just want to be honest, because that's what this show does. They be thinking they blowing, and across the field, we don't be getting nothing. We used to be sitting over there like that sound is not making it past half, but past the 50. And we sitting there like, because there's no resonance. Never mind. We can talk about that later. That was back when I was teaching that. But my only goal, Justin, in this whole music education thing, brother, is to do better by our students. Being able to create students that have opportunities outside of just the small box. These students are going to go on to be somebody's band director one day. And if we are preparing these students to be successful, then that's better for us as Black people. This ain't got nothing to do with that school, this school, that school. This has to do with our people. And I will always fight for our people, bro, in the best way I knew how. Yes, I can be concise and straight to the point. I'm not going to beat around the bush for nobody. But at the end of the day, I love my people. I love you. I love Mario, Jew, everybody, bro, because I think that together as Black men, we can do better for our community and set the future up, man, so where we're in the conversation amongst the best in the country, not just in, these bands. And if that's all you want, cool, man. I don't want to push anybody to do something they don't want to do.
I think another thing that I know that just y'all just wouldn't have no idea of, because I mean, like y'all watched the whole Greatest City before. I know y'all watched it. So
Yeah, I
somebody probably
did.
watched the documentary. You know what I'm
I
saying?
show it every year, by the way. That's
Huh?
that's how. So for me, I show it every year for my students, no matter what school I'm at, to show how can band transform your life. Like, I forgot.
I show
Open
that
Road,
one.
Mr. Rose.
I
Mr.
show
Rose.
that
Yeah,
one.
my
But
band.
I also show the one from Baloo, the joint from Baloo High School.
Oh yeah. We
Yeah, that
met
joint.
them.
What that
We
what
met
that
them
one
in
is?
Baltimore. But like I show it every year. Like
I'll send it to you, Justin.
yeah. Like it's kids that honestly, if Bear will walk up to them even in his old age, they would know every single one of my students, because it transforms life. But one thing that we could show on that movie, Mr. Rollins had a concert band.
I was
You
in
know what
that
I'm saying?
band. I was in this one
You
of
know
those
what I'm
two.
saying? So go ahead.
My point in saying that is, bro, is like I said, I don't know if y'all can relate to it. I mean, we have Mighty Rap. Mighty Rap is, I don't even want to say me sound stupid saying it's just as big as football season. It's not bigger. You know what I'm saying? Because we
No,
want
I
to see Blaze
totally
Symbols.
understand that for
And,
for
and,
New Orleans. I get it.
and you'll be a fool not to be a HBCU that's less than 4 or 5 hours away and not be there. Kentucky State comes every year. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, and that's at the sometimes it's at March and sometimes at the end of February. It depends on what it is. So January, February, you already in March, you still doing marching band. I'm not making an excuse of saying it may be hard to kind of fit concert in. You know what I'm saying? But what that's not even pandemic is an excuse because this just happened. But at the same time, I don't see like us even pushing like you want to push, Rick, with all of these things that's at hand. And also, I know y'all hearing these rumors about this big battle of the bands they about to have with the SWAC. I don't know if y'all heard about that. That's about to be crazy saying what they offer in these schools. It just we bands are
What did you say?
doing
Say it again, Justin.
The
is
one in Atlanta?
no, that's another one that just came up. But there's a battle of bands that is rumored right now that all the SWAC bands are going to go to sometime in the spring. They all know what it is, but they're saying they're paying for everything. It's about to be something crazy, and it's predicted to be in California to push the culture over there. I don't know what's going on with it. It's just rumored right now. What I would say, bands are doing what they got to do to get the kids in a school to keep the program alive. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I hate to say marching band is what will get kids in a band, but at the same time, you telling me all this concert stuff that we need to do, but these small bands like North Carolina Central, whatever you say, got the best concert band may got 50 people in there. You know what I'm saying? Or like,
No, but you're right, bro. But here's I want to like I never want to tell you you're wrong. I'm not going to say you're wrong, bro. I just want to present an alternate, side of the argument, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prairie View. We're just going to use it. We always go to Prairie View for some reason. When I got there,
I don't think, especially, I hate to cut you off. I don't think you give one, Rick. I think a lot of people who comment on what you say are the wrong people you need to be worrying about opinions from. Because when you talk to some of the kids that's in Southern Band or actually marched in those bands in the time from when y'all was there to now, like Yoshi, y'all might have remember Yoshi. It'll take Yoshi to tell you. PV is one of the games that we look forward to seeing every year. One, because they don't sound like nobody else and they sound good. I just don't think y'all give them enough credit. Y'all be saying they the underdogs. I'm like, who y'all listening to when y'all saying PV be the underdogs?
But what I was gonna say is this, bro. Like,
Before you
go
keep
ahead.
going, Rick, go ahead, and then Justin, we got to wrap it up because we got one more. We got another guest.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say that at the end of the day, with them, when we first got there, bro, we were like, okay, we don't want to be anybody else. That was like a huge thing for us. So what we started doing, Justin, when we was like, okay, we're gonna continue to recruit at the schools we normally recruit at, right? Like we're not gonna abandon those schools. Those people made this band what it is. But we're also going to incorporate some schools that we wouldn't normally go to. We started going to Cedar Hill. We started going to Bruce's school out in San Antonio. We started going to the watering holes that we wouldn't normally go to because there was a sound in mind that we wanted and there was a type of approach that we were looking for. Those students that are in their band right now, I'm sure they love marching band just like the next person. But they also love sitting down and playing wind ensemble music. They also love those things. So I think it can be done at every school. I think you keep your normal recruitment basis, but also get some of those students that you wouldn't normally recruit, man. Go to some places you wouldn't normally want to go. Get in, work yourselves into the door because, we want all black people to go to school. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is an opportunity that every band look. And I'll just use Langston as an example. That's what Gordon did. Gordon inherited that band. They had what, 20-something people. Now they pushing 150, almost 200. That man is a recruiting guru, and he knows what he's doing. And I'm telling you, bro, that is the key. All these small bands you talk about, that is the key. Go to some schools that you wouldn't normally go to. Go get those black kids that's at that predominantly white school. They like show style bands just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But they don't get recruited.
Personal.
Right. They just don't get recruited because these band directors don't think that they can get in those schools, and they absolutely can. So I'm just saying, bro, I want people to think outside the box. And maybe I'm jaded because, all those things work for me. But at the end of the day, everybody can do that and grow their program and not try to be Southern. So, right.
All right, Doctor, I appreciate talking to you. We got to get out, but I'm going to holler at y'all. All right, man.
All right, bro.
All right, bro.
All right.
Yo.
Let's welcome Derek to the show. What's going on?
Yo, what's going on, y'all?
What's up, chapter, bro?
What up, boy?
What up, chapter, bro?
Cool. Man,
same thing.
yeah, for everybody don't know, I never met you, Quan. Rick, we kind of briefly met, Mario, some J, all that. I did want to bring back to the Southern often imitated whole little thing I had going on, and I wanted to kind of like pick your brains with it. So, we use the phrase often imitated, but I started thinking about it after I started talking. Don't we kind of do some form of imitation every time we create something? Like we see Southern, they got success with some of the things that they do. Why would we not draw upon what we see they're successful with and mend it with our own ideas to create something new? And I think sometimes that gets confused with people saying often imitated. They say everybody's trying to be like Southern. Like we could take the arrangements, for example. I know we always talk about the roux, right? The roux and everything like that. And it's kind of hard. Think about this, it's kind of hard to recruit baritone players or euphonium players in our culture if your arrangements don't have the roux, because that's what's popular right now. They see that's how they bring people in. So it's kind of like, a necessary evil, even though you may not agree with it, but it's what the performers are looking for, and we could pick stuff like that off for every school. So I wanted to pick your brains on that, man. I wanted to bring it around circle saying, I feel like that's why the culture is being stagnant right now, because it's like a rule that we can't copy anybody. Everybody wants to do their own original thing, but why would we not take something that somebody else is doing that's creating success and make our own version of it? Why would we not do that?
Well, can I?
Go
ahead, Mario. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Mario.
I was just gonna say the biggest comment I had to it is really about I don't necessarily disagree with the idea of imitating things in that area, but finding the actual source of it. Southern is Southern's always kind of been popular, but I'm saying Southern seems to be a notch ahead of a lot of other programs. Like even Jackson, who used to seem like A1, A1, AB, 1A, 1B, now they're like 2. They're not quite Southern. So because the media team has also helped with that. But what I was saying is that anything that's done, people say it's a copy of Southern, but it may not even be a copy of Southern. It may be coming from some other HBCU or some other program. What happens is we give them credit for things that they may not even have created. And I think Quan was mentioning this earlier, talking about the step 2 drills. Like, did that? I don't know. I don't know if that came from Southern. I'm just mentioning that because that's what Quan was talking about. But there's certain things in the culture. It's like we give credit to whatever's present now, and not really do enough research to know where things may have come from, and having a bit of an origins base kind of factoid around whatever the entity is within the marching band. Now, as far as the performers wanting to play that, man, when I came to Norfolk, I was already ruined. I came in like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I came in specifically now, and this is real talk, and I ain't trying to shade nobody, but I came in specifically to change the culture of that section. I was recruited specifically. Let me tell you how specific this was.
I recruited you.
I auditioned for Dr. Sanford, and he asked me to play. I played something on clarinet or something like that. And then he just like made a couple comments. And then I was like, yeah, I got the baritone, the saxophone I can play for you. He was like, I don't need to hear that. I already heard you. He's like, so when you come next year, this is what we're going to be focusing on. I really need my I mean, he was really talking to me about the baritone section at that point, like in an audition, man. When I got there, my spring semester, we used to have spring camps at Norfolk. I was already leading the section. So what a lot of the younger cats from Norfolk don't understand is like literally the culture of that section was established at that time, because TNT is way older than me, but the culture of how they play, that was not existing. As Hollins, he was there. He was a section leader before I came in. It was not existing. So
when we were in the band,
that rule is what I like too, but I learned to appreciate the other parts of the band.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I learned to appreciate the contouring and the roundness of the sound that I appreciated in high school, but we really got into it. I learned that the baritone was a tenor tuba and that everything didn't need to be played fucking up an octave. Like I learned that the meat of the horn was between, really in a marching band, between F on the fourth line and E flat. Really, that's the power space to help the ensemble and the warmness of the sound that really adds to the ensemble. Now, that was what I learned under Mr. Adams. So what I'm saying is, yeah, kids can want what they want, but that's why you have damn teachers. So that's all I'm saying is that teacher, man, like we can give you the rule on some of this stuff, but other stuff, you're going to have to learn how to play this horn properly, man.
No, I definitely agree. It's a balance to all of it. You know?
Well, but what about like Derek? You don't mind if like we talk about your school, right?
All good. Mm-hmm.
Like you are the band director at the most prestigious high school for Black students in the state of Virginia. Like, I mean, if you want to be real, Norfolk State is copying your band because Mr. Fears was there at Norfolk, right before he was at Norfolk State.
Yeah.
So when you talk about imitation, Norcom is the gold standard for Black bands in the state of Virginia. It always has been. It always will be. I know Booker T want to talk that mess. They ain't never been what Norcom is. So from that standpoint, when you talk about imitation, I just want to go back to what you were saying first before I respond to what Mario said. There's always going to be some form of imitation. I'm going to always pull the parts out of a particular band that I like. You know, are we going to say that every show style band is copying Michigan State or Michigan because they're high stepping, you know, or, you know, whatever is happening at these others? No, we're not. We're going to say that school does what they do and that's fine. I think where it becomes a challenge there is when they do it exactly the same as the other institution. Like my marching band uniform looks like said institution. My drum major does the same thing. I'm sorry. If I see a drum major come out doing this, the Norfolk State thing, all that arm mess, all this stuff, we know exactly where that came from. Nobody else in the country does what Norfolk State's drum major does with throwing the elbow and all that stuff. Nobody. So it's easy to say, okay, I know where that came from. But if I can take a piece like Mario talked about voicing, like I know you arrange, man, like, and kudos to you, man. Yeah, kudos to you for that ballad you wrote for the competition. That was beautiful, bro.
Appreciate it.
It was all right, man. It was all right.
But you gotta hate a little bit.
Absolutely.
Hate a little bit.
But from an arranging standpoint, right? You wrote and you did what you wanted to do. You wrote it how you wanted. You did the voicings you wanted, and so forth. I talked about this earlier in the show. There is a generation of students that is listening to the videos they hear on YouTube without any training, and they think that that's what band is supposed to sound like. They think that baritones are supposed to be playing in the mellophone register. They think that mellophones are supposed to be playing in the trumpet register, screaming on a mellophone because it's loud. So without the proper training, that is where our music is going to go. You're going to have all these cross voices. You're going to have all these things that are not characteristic to good arranging, you know, for a band. Mario talked about the tenor tuba. When I was in the band, before Mario even got there, the baritone section was the dumping ground. If you sucked on your instrument, Dr. Sanford used to say, "Go get a baritone."
Like it's he's serious.
I'm dead serious, bro.
It's crazy where that came from, though.
Right. So I think that to answer your question, bro, I think the imitation is okay. I think facsimile is not. If I look exactly like said band or did it exactly the same way, like I'll give you the prime example, and then I get out the way. I'm sure Quan wanted to say something too. In 2001, I bought the playing each other's trumpet to Norfolk State.
Oh yeah.
I marched cadets. You know what I'm saying? Right. I bought that to Norfolk State. I marched in the drum corps that did it. So right. So
guess what, Rick?
right.
A lot of HBCU they do it too.
Yeah, PV did it.
PV did it.
I
they
think
did
it
it
was
from 02, 03.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
I marched in the drum corps that did it. So I'm sitting there like
I played it. I ain't gonna lie. I thought it was like the back row was playing and y'all wasn't playing. That's
no, man, it switches. So we and the leads don't do it. We just back there screaming double G. So yeah, I bought that from cadets, man. So like that, I don't think that's copying because I marched it. You know what I'm saying? I was in the drum corps that did it, and we only used it just for a visual because we weren't playing which is the music that the cadets play. We play like there was music in there. So yeah, man, I think that a smart band director will take things that work with the audience and kind of incorporate them. Just don't do it the same way.
So Ricky kind of basically said everything. We all honestly have a GOAT in our mind that when you started arranging, started teaching, whatever, you emulated your style of teaching and so forth on. I think it's the problem when all you want to do is become the second coming of that same person. And I think that's the bottom line problem in regards of the imitating and duplicating thing, specifically in regards to Southern. So those band directors, like we said, that those goes to the Paul Adams, the Dr. Sanford, so forth and so on. Dr. Zachary, bro, he's not trying to turn Prairie View into another Southern. He's not. He's doing his own thing. And I think that's the issue of what we're saying. We're talking about over 15 HBCUs with band programs, but you can literally pick out of the 15, I'm just using 15, but out of the 15, 7 of them are going to do step 2 drills just like Southern. Well, that's a lack of variety overall. And so that's the issue that we're basically lamenting on this show. Where's the variety? And that's post Robert Champion at this point. So now at this point with YouTube, you have to change up your drill while keeping your own identity of the school. That's just my whole point.
Now, can I ask another thing? Just linking on to that. How can we create variety? I know you're talking about maybe change the order of whatever we feature in the show, but essentially it's still going to be the same show. I started thinking about like not even just DC. I'm talking about big schools that use props and everything during the show. HBCUs don't have that budget to have props. We're not doing one show. We can't do one show a whole season and buy props for that season. That's not how it works. Our crowd wants a whole different show every week. So what do you all think about that?
Well, I'm not gonna get on the props thing, but I am gonna get on something that you just kind of said because me and Rick had this conversation before. Like, so I'm sorry, I can't subscribe to the idea of like we can't put these shows together. I can't subscribe to that because in most cases, most HBCUs do the same show for like 3-4 games before they even switch a show. And even when they do that, that means that if you do it the first time and it didn't work well, then fix whatever you didn't do right and make it better every single game. So in totality, you can at least get about 2 to 3 different perfected shows a season. So I can't subscribe to we ain't never got the time to be able. A lot of bands be out there till 2:00 in the morning working on the step 2 drill that you've been doing since 1982. So you mean to tell me that you can't put together a show that is completely different and have that going through 2 or 3 games? Not to mention the fact that you don't even travel to every game. So on a bye week, you have a chance to either change the drill or fix the drill. So I don't know. I can't subscribe to that. But everything else, go ahead.
Ohio State does with 3 or 4 shows a year. And we all know how Ohio State is. So.
Right. But that also goes to the exposure of what is the band director honestly where is he getting his inspiration from as well? What is he being exposed to as well? Like if you look at any musician, prime example, if you look at the life of Miles Davis, the same Miles Davis that brought up the cool jazz is not the same one when he passed away with the slick back. Like he's not the same person. So the whole point is he was able to change throughout the trajectory of his career in creating something that was completely different. You know what I'm saying? Like think about it. Like you have Louis Armstrong who started off with, Dixieland jazz, but then he backdoor and now he's singing a wonderful world. Like things improve and things adjust where you get your inspiration from. So you could look at DCI and be like, you know what, that aspect, I'm gonna take this part. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go look at the bands that's in Japan at the style of they're doing. I'm gonna go take something from over there, and then you make it your own. So yeah, you're imitating, but you're making it your own for the style and program that you have.
I think I promise I'm gonna be very short. The issue, bro, to why a lot of schools can't do these things is because of the way they rehearse. They don't rehearse efficiently. They don't know how to rehearse efficiently. There should be a training program that leads to the visual. So you should be doing visual warm-ups and things like that to incorporate into the show that you want to do. You look at, some schools, man, idea of a rehearsal is running the show over and over and over and over and over and over again until it looks acceptable. That is not an efficient rehearsal. Okay, if I'm up there, I'm gonna say, okay, the beginning is fine. Let's run it, make sure it's fine. Let's focus on the area of the show that's not great. So I think the other part of that is coming up with a more efficient rehearsal technique that will allow you to do the things that you want. From a prop standpoint, I agree with you, man. I don't think bands necessarily need the props like DCI, but like I just said, Ohio State does 3 or 4 shows every year. These band programs can afford a flag with a Superman thing on it, or they can afford, like one thing we wanted to do. One of my ideas was I wanted to incorporate electronics because there are already electronics at the games anyway. So we can easily incorporate voice, acting, all that stuff into the show to change it up, actually make it a show, like more so in the line of, what we're used to seeing now, as opposed to this format that has been around since the 60s and 70s. A lot of these band programs look exactly the same way they looked in the 70s. And you can it's on YouTube right now. So I'm thinking that band directors just need to be slightly more creative and how to use the 8 minutes that they give you at these football games. You don't have to do a dance routine every show. You don't.
I think that's a big
ideas. I got some ideas, but I want to hold them for Norfolk. So I'm actually want to talk to somebody from the school about some ideas that I have that I think would be dope for some halftime stuff. Because I remember when I was in school, I had mentioned a couple songs to a couple people down in North Carolina, and the next thing I know, we had a battle of bands, and they were playing the songs that I mentioned. So
Yeah.
I will no longer mention things that I think that are going to be great. I'm just going to hold it off and just talk to people. Now, if said people don't take to those things and don't want to do them, then it'll be public information, and hopefully somebody will use it. But I think I got some couple good ideas that I think that would be dope. I'll share them with you if you want to.
Oh yeah, no, we wrap. Yeah, for sure. I want to say something about what Rick said real quick.
I was about to say, Derek, final thoughts, bro.
Yeah, man. Just before I leave, man, just think you say everything don't have to have a dance routine, man. But think about if a band does not do a dance routine, how the crowd's gonna react. And I think that's what really kills. I feel like that's the main factor in all the shows that we say are unoriginal, is that dance routine comes at the end. We feel like it's the same thing. Because I know in North State, we've done a lot of different things in the last 3 years that people don't notice that are completely different from what we usually do. Mm-hmm. But because we end with a dance routine, it makes it seem like it's a regularly formatted show. You can look at our Motown show, our Prince show.
I was about to mention that Prince show.
All those are completely different. But because we did a dance routine at the end, it makes it seem like, this regular old Norfolk. You hear a message, and then
I said that a couple of shows ago, man, with Message. Message is the entertainment tonight of Norfolk. If you stop playing message, all the old heads, my people gonna be up there. Well, what the hell is going on? This is. I'm gonna give you a prime example, and I hope don't Mario. I hope don't nobody.
Why they all sound like 65-year-old men?
Right, we in our 30s, sounding like we 50. Back in my day, but look, Mario, imagine this, bro. And I hope don't nobody steal my idea. Let's
Then
say,
don't say it.
Derek, I'll talk to y'all. I'll talk to y'all mine, bro. Yeah, because it's a lot. I have a bunch of different ways of getting around that. And when I say not doing a dance routine, I'm talking about the standard format. Go stand on the lines, stand in straight lines, and dance in straight lines. When you go to Broadway, you got a group over here that's acting and interacting with one another. There's a lot of different ways.
Right. You on my wavelength, Rick.
We got
We'll walk. We're right.
But see, before you keep going, Rick, but this is why I said earlier what I said. I loved working with you at PV, bro, because that's where our minds go. Our minds go in so many different directions. Now me and you playing shows that never came to fruition at all, but they were dope shows. So yeah, but I don't want you to keep saying your ideas over here.
Right. All I'll say is this, man. The one thing that's missing from HBCU band, in my opinion, is the fact that the performers don't look at themselves as performers. They look at themselves all in one big cacophony of group, and they don't think that people up in the stands can see that.
SAT word.
We are individual performers, and if you look at it that way, it opens up the whole realm of performance for an HBCU. So I can definitely give you some ideas, man. But this year I may be looking to get back at HBCU, so I ain't gonna give you all my hot stuff. I just play it. Bro. Yeah, go ahead.
No, he want to play.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Right. Yep. Derek, you got anything else?
Hey, nah, man, that was all me. I appreciate the discussion and everything. We definitely got to talk, offline sometime.
All right, and I definitely got to link with you too. As a matter of fact, I'll hit you when the show's
for sure, man. I love listening. Man, I'm telling you, I come here every Wednesday, and I was like, dang, I am messing up on that. When y'all bring something up, I was like, all right, I'm gonna tighten that up tomorrow. So I enjoy this every Wednesday, man. So for
man, much appreciated, man.
Respect. Thanks for the
keep doing what you're doing, man. All that great
work, bro.
Yeah,
keep
man.
it up.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
All right, bro.
All
right, man. Great show. I thought we did. I thought it was a great show, man. But we about to wrap. Actually, I went a little later than what I actually planned on going. I think Chief, you actually went a little later, man. But I appreciate you for just sticking it out there, bro.
Yeah, I got a headache. I'm tired.
I know you do, man. But I appreciate. I think you was about to cut out anyway. You was probably about to be like, "Hey, man, I'm about to," and then you kind of held yourself back. You was like,
I was. You saw it.
I saw it.
I'm trying to hold it together, dog.
I thought you was about to text me like, "Yo, I got you, bro." But yeah, man.
I picked the phone up and everything. I was like, oh man.
Well, nah, let's go ahead and shut it down, man. There's definitely no after party tonight. So let's go ahead and end it. Mario, anything you got for the coach? Anything? Any final thoughts?
Oh man, just continue to motivate and inspire young people to be participants in music. All this conversation that we're having, and we have, I don't want us ever to get away from the fact that we're getting young people involved with an art form that saved my life and saved many of our lives from other things we could have been doing. So let's continue to promote music education and be advocates for each other. Those of you who are not in education, but you march in the HBCU band, being an advocate for your local band program, which means bringing water, which means whatever avenue you're in, maybe using that tool to help that band program. And those are ways to continue to build up the program so that we can have these better college bands that we were discussing. Better middle schools, better high schools equal better colleges with the right instruction. Peace, everybody.
All right, cool. Quan, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
Well, first of all, continue to be safe out there with this, COVID situation. I ask and pray for everybody's, first and foremost. Number two, Happy New Year. Let's set and create some realistic goals, honestly, to continue pushing these band program and music programs overall, from the bottom all the way up. And honestly, just continue to motivate yourself and to get better. For whatever you don't know, ask. For whatever you feel like you can't you haven't figured out or mastered yet, go ahead and read it. You're never too old in this game to learn. I'm asking questions to these brothers. I'm the youngest director on here, and I feel like real talk. I need to sit at the feet of y'all wisdom to continuously getting better at the end of the day. So just continue getting better.
All right. Appreciate it. Rick, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture, bro?
I just want us to always remember, man, that we're not just here in this life to just do for us. Part of this life is doing for others and doing for those coming up behind you. I think I can be a little direct with my approach to some of the things I say, but that's because I'm passionate. I'm passionate about improving my community. I would not be where I am in life if it wasn't for somebody taking a chance on me. And I think that as adults that care about young people and care about our people, I think we need to be more focused on that rather than tearing people down and telling them these whatever you want to tell them. Let's just continue to support our people, man, and be better. For this week, you want to hear some cool music? I went the instrumental route this week because we always do singers or rappers or whatever. I'll do a hip hop one next week. But 3 instrumentalists that I'm listening to that have some really, really hip music that you'll like. And some of these people I already know, but Kiefer. Kiefer is a piano player that's really, really dope, man. And he has some really legit stuff, as well as Anomaly. Anomaly, Anomalie, is another one that's really, really good. You'll like his music. And one I just found recently that's really hip. You might even seen like his I'll show it to you real quick. His it's this video of people like reacting to like this really hip guy. His name is Cartoons. If you've never heard of Cartoons before, y'all got to check him out. Check this guy out, man. His music is really legit, man. For the sake of the show, I don't want to. Oh, here it is.
I'm about to say you can't play it.
Right. But yeah, this guy Cartoons, y'all. He's a bass player, but go check his stuff out. He's in like the same camp as Kiefer and all this. You spell his name Carrtons. He's a bass player, and you'll find him. But his stuff's really legit too. So yeah, check those 3 out if you want to hear some good instrumental music. Man, stay loved up, man.
All right. And then as far as I'm concerned, man, I mean, I'm just going to kind of piggyback off of what everybody else is saying. Please make sure that you keep yourself safe. Do what you need to do to try to protect yourself, mask up and all that kind of stuff. Also, if you're just coming in, if you didn't know, we are on Spotify. Yay, we are on Spotify. So if you didn't catch the beginning of the show or you missed anything from the middle, this show will be going live on Spotify tomorrow. You can go to find us on Spotify at Real Talk That Talk. Also, make sure you subscribe to the network and turn on notifications. I always say we got some things coming up, and I really don't want anybody to be behind the 8 ball and miss any of the stuff that we have. So with that being said, man, I appreciate everybody for coming through and checking us out. You guys have been amazing. Appreciate you guys' support. And, as we always say, man, you guys are great. This has been awesome. Don't know what else to say, but other than see you all next week.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, definitely. Happy New Year.